old to 49-year-old Obama Herrera was made, according to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation.
6'5"?
The note on the
It says
Department
6'5".
website.
So how big are you, Coach? 6'5"?
First
2 change?
become
Yeah, we'll say
eligible
2
for
change.
parole in 2033 after spending 25 years behind bars. On August
Yeah, that's what I said.
2008,
Oh, what do you say? 2 change?
That's what I go, what are you, Coach? 6'5", 2 change? You go, yeah, we'll say 2 change. 270, we'll say 265.
I mean, he's not fat.
No, he's not. He was like on the way over here. He was playing on the way over here. So Robbie, I was doing
happened
bench
around
presses the
1:30
other day.
Sunday
So he
morning
still
at
works
the
out.
Lane
You know what I mean?
Stein Road intersection. Carino
And
was the passenger in one of the cars and was ejected. Her body was found down the road. Little fire has burned over 2,548 acres and is 29% contained. The blaze started on
They're up
Friday
in Fresno
along Highway
now. Oh, that's what he
178,
said.
about 5 miles east of Burrell Road. 178 was initially closed, but has since reopened. According to the U.S. Forest Service, all eastbound lanes are passable, and there is single-lane traffic in the westbound direction. The weekend rain provided a little relief for firefighters, with some areas
I said in the back, he goes, I'm on the front. I said, that's bigger show. We put in the front yard.
Searching for a 32-year-old man with autism. Stephen Thomas Merrick
just one
was last
hole.
seen
so.
walking from
Yeah,
his
that's
home
what Gino
to
did.
Tail Lane and Quail
Gino
Creek
took a
Road.
backhoe
His
and
picture is on Kern
created-
County
he's got a
Sheriff's social
downhill
media.
par
If anyone
three
knows
that
anything,
ends
he's
at the
asked to
river.
give them a
The
call.
green is
Like,
like
you're
Bill
doing
Robbins
it,
in
right?
the
If you
KERN
carry it,
newsroom
it's
with
really
news
well.
every half hour or when it breaks on
Must be
News
nice.
Talk 96.1
Must be
and
nice.
AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think, this is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get up close like this. Little bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180
Now
KERN.
make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing for those subscribing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com. Chris Burdick producing the broadcast on this Wednesday, 27th day of August. And we got a busy show. I sigh. I think, as most of you know, I love my job. I really do. 7 to about noon, and then 3 to 6 is my favorite time of the day, Monday through Friday. Except for days like this. We will get into the obvious story of the day, the shooting in Minnesota, right at the top of the broadcast in just a second. We'll also talk about Donald Trump denying another $125 million to the state of California for our idiotic high-speed rail. We'll get into that. It's a Wednesday, so Howard Marcus will join us at 4 o'clock. For the first time, I truly believe Benjamin Netanyahu has gone too far and has to be stopped. There has to be some type of ceasefire and agreement between Hamas and the Israelis. This following the targeting of a hospital that the Israelis believed had cameras established by Hamas. They were actually cameras established by Reuters. 5 journalists were killed, along with 15 other civilians, including 2 children. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. And it's the first time I've ever said that. I've been in complete support of everything that the Israelis and Benjamin Netanyahu has done, but he is being pushed by the right-wing conservative part of the Israeli government. And they are hell-bent on destroying Hamas, period, end of sentence, and nothing else matters. And now it is a matter of humanitarian empathy. And in fact, what they're doing is hurting the hostages as well. They are destroying attempts at aid and food. And if the food and the aid can't get to even Hamas, then it can't get to the hostages. We'll talk about that at some point. Our good friend Jay Tamsey, one of the best hosts I know, throws a hell of a party. The 28th annual Kern County Hispanic Chamber Hispanic Business Conference and Expo gets is already underway. It started at 1 o'clock this afternoon with workshops until 4 o'clock this afternoon, and then an expo and networking. I have to read my handwriting. Networking from 4 to 7. We'll talk about that. And the Dodgers got a big win last night. CK looked, it was surprising to hear him after the ball game. He only went 5 innings, and he said, I had nothing tonight. I had nothing. He said, I give the win to Will Smith because he called a great game because he threw mostly curveballs. He said, I had nothing on my fastball, and I just kind of junked it. But, that's called pitching. It's not throwing. It's not just rearing back and throwing 101 miles per hour. It's changing the eye level. It's reaching the corners, realizing that umpiring in the 21st century is horrendous, and you could miss 6 inches off the plate, and they'll give you the call. And that happened a couple of times last night. CK got out of it. Dodgers got a big win. Please stand by. Robbie Pratt. Don't forget about the party tonight. I'll be there. I'm going to a a bachelor party tonight. I have a wedding to go to Saturday, as I mentioned, as I was practicing my dance steps on the air yesterday. Big wedding. Robbie Pratt getting married. Can you believe it? For those that know Robbie, good man, but he's taking the fall, Jack. We're excited about this. I'll tell you about it on Monday. And the U.S. Open is in its second round. Coco Gauff had to go 3 sets last night, but she survived. And there are no other big upsets that I know of. We'll get into that. And the Hard Rock Cafe, down at Tejon Ranch, did a 2-day job fair. Walk me through this. You need a job. A job fair opens up. Great opportunities abound. A casino, a hotel. So there are dealer jobs, there are hospitality jobs, janitorial jobs, housekeeping jobs. And you get up and you're excited. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to get a job. Yeah. And you put on a pair of jeans, a t-shirt, and a ball cap. I witnessed that. I actually witnessed that in the B-roll that 17 provided. And it wasn't like one person. I don't mean to sound like a snob, but you really haven't heard the phrase dress to impress? Okay, let's say I give you the jeans and the t-shirt.
You really shouldn't, though.
And you really, really shouldn't.
You really shouldn't.
Because that's absurd.
Yeah.
But okay, let's give him the jeans and the t-shirt.
I'll give you jeans, but a t-shirt?
Yeah.
No. Jeans you can get away with. If you have a nice button up, you're tucked in, you have a good belt on, you know what I mean?
And some black shoes, maybe, and some loafers, maybe.
A nice pair of jeans, that are very clean.
But I'm going to give him the jeans and the t-shirt. But the ball cap?
Yeah, no.
You're wearing a baseball cap to a job interview. I hate to tell you this, for those that may be listening, and anybody that dresses like that isn't listening to my show. Let's face it. But just in case they are, you ain't getting the gig. I can tell you that right now. You walk into my office with a ball cap, I don't give a damn if you got a tuxedo on. You ain't getting the gig. What do people think? I see this B-roll, and I see a couple of people dressed, but I see a bunch of guys in t-shirts. I see women looking like, I almost said like they're going to the club. No, that's dressed up. They look like they're going to 7-Eleven. And Elaine McInerney, a wonderful woman, started a program for women where she was teaching women and providing them clothes for women that didn't have appropriate clothes to go on job interviews. She provides them. I forget what the program is called. If anybody remembers, feel free to chime in. Or Elaine, if you're listening, feel free to chime in. But I just looked at this B-roll and I was just like, are those jeans that guy's wearing? Is that a t-shirt he's got on? Is that a ball cap he's wearing? I don't comprehend. Y'all ain't getting hired. At least I hope not. And JR and Romeo Agbalog, when he filled in for me, had Chris Kelly on. We hope to become really good friends. I ran into him in the hallway when JR had him on. And I said, I'll be seeing a lot of you. Nah, that's not true because he's not going to be around the casino. But I was basically trying to tell him, I'm going to be down there. I'm going to be down there. I'm a big poker player. Please stand by. Jennifer Pitcher. I have to take this, Jack. Dress for Success down there at the Haberfeld building. Oh, that's Lane's. It is. See? Well, that's, yeah, because it does make sense. Absolutely makes sense. But I don't understand it. Yeah, I'm going to go get a job. Let me go put my Dodger cap on.
See, like I am one of those people, and although you really should do your hair, so you shouldn't have a cap on at all.
Yeah.
But if you absolutely have to, you could have it on in the car. Just leave it in the car.
Yeah, yeah. One guy had his hat on backwards. No, I'm kidding. I'm making that up. He didn't have it on backwards, but still a ball cap at an interview. And just to wear a ball cap inside. But that's decorum that these kids today don't even understand.
Yeah, I don't follow that one.
I mean, I go to restaurants and see guys with ball caps on, which I think you can get away at the bar.
Yes.
And the only reason I say that is because I've worn ball caps at the bar, but at a dining room table. And you know my other restaurant faux pas is big in Bakersfield. I don't know why I'm getting this off my chest because I really don't want to talk about Minnesota, but I have to after the break. Is guys that chew tobacco.
Oh, it's the grossest thing ever.
And they're sitting at a dining room table in a restaurant like KC Steakhouse or even Luigi's or just nice restaurants. And they're spitting tobacco juice in a beer bottle. Like, who raised you? And I know there are a lot of y'all out there, you can get mad at me if you want. But that's disgusting, and it's just bad manners. It's country bumpkin stuff. Spitting into a bottle at a dining room table? Would you do that at 15? Your mama would smack. Well, I don't know. Maybe your mama wouldn't. Maybe that's why you do it as a grown-ass man, because your mama wouldn't have smacked you in the face. It'll let you sit around the table and spit tobacco juice into a bottle. Let's go. When we come back, unfortunately, you'll hear from one of the children that were involved in the shooting at Annunciation Church, the school in Minnesota. I'll give you some facts that you probably didn't know that'll blow you away. You'll hear from Brian O'Hara, the police chief up in Minnesota. And we'll get into our miscellaneous news and notes. And as I mentioned, I almost said Howard Baker, former Tennessee senator who's been dead for like 40 years, part of Watergate. Howard Baker? Howard Marcus will be joining. He's alive. He'll be joining us at 4 o'clock. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show. By the way, for YouTubers, if you're confused about yesterday's show and you wanted to see maybe Kathy Miller, who was on our broadcast, there are actually 2 segments on YouTube. There's the first half hour where we were having some technical difficulties. That's not the main broadcast. Search down and the remainder of the show is there. So there are 2 yesterday shows on YouTube. I'm wearing a button-down shirt, a long-sleeve button-down shirt. That's what you look for in the image. But there are 2, if you're looking for the Kathy Miller interview or anything that happened after 3:30. If you're looking for the Teresa Goldner interview, that's one segment. And then the first half hour is on a different segment. See what I'm saying? So there are 2 shows on YouTube that represent all of yesterday's show. I hope that made sense. Quick timeout. Coming right back. It's TRBS on a Wednesday. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Do you feel like you need to know what's going on in the world, but you don't want to be bored to tears? Well, tune in the Armstrong and Getty Show. We'll keep you informed. We'll try to.
And my foot's worse.
We will leave behind the ever-present.
It really is.
media
I don't know if I did that.
You
You
know
think
what?
I did?
We're not angry all the time. Sometimes we have fun. I'm angry a lot, but
No.
not all the time. That's the Armstrong and Getty Show every single weekday.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hey everybody, it's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Network. You know, it's funny or coincidental that I'm talking to you about Adaptive Network because they literally just left our studios. That's right. We've teamed up with Adaptive Network because they are the best in town when it comes to IT. And, you know, the biggest mistake companies make with their IT is not having a plan. Like I've talked about, as a radio station, when our IT goes down, you hear nothing. So we can't just wait and say, oh, well, we'll call our IT guy the very next day. We have to have a plan, disaster recovery, security policies, and compliance that all often get ignored. And they also talk about antivirus. Today's cyber threats,
Who got the pot?
layered security, firewalls, endpoint protection, and monitoring. And that's why we've teamed up with Adaptive Network.
Oh, we got free pizza?
As well. Call them today at 241-0638. That's 241-0638. Adaptive Network.
You won't pay free pizza?
Partner in Bakersfield, making it
Okay.
simple, stable, and secure.
We all hear the
Oh, it
rumors
doesn't.
about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575.
You got paper towels in there?
83. Don't lose hope.
You got paper towels?
Can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1783. That's 800-575.
That is so right on time.
1783. Tax relief.
I did not eat
real
today.
Solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not going to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-498-6548. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-498-6548. That's 800-498-6548. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Armstrong and Getty Show. Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Swear to God, JR is deaf. I think we really need to check his hearing.
I don't look at me.
Unless he turns it up as a practical joke. I don't know.
It's just how he likes it.
Ah,
Him and Scott.
so loud.
Scott turns it up though because he takes his headphones off during the break and puts them down, so he needs to hear the music when it comes back. But JR, I agree. He's got some.
I got some hearing problems. And I apologize. I have not eaten today. And the ladies bought some pizza. What was that?
Little Caesars.
Really?
Yeah, it's hot and ready.
I thought I hated Little Caesars.
Well, clearly you do not. Or
I
you're
was.
hungry enough to
I think that's what it is. I have not eaten today.
Because that's how I feel sometimes. Like if I just need something and I really just don't feel like cooking anything, go get a $5 hot and ready. I mean, it'll last you a couple days.
No, that's not good pizza.
Oh, it's not. Don't
I'm
get me
just
wrong.
starving.
Oh, if I'm going for good pizza, I'm going to Rusty's.
Rusty's? Okay. I used to be a Mountain Man guy.
Mountain Mike's.
Mountain Mike's, yeah, when I lived in the Northeast.
They were good. They're good.
Yeah.
And then Hungry Howie's is also underrated, but I don't go there often, nor do I really know where one is anymore.
I miss Tony's.
Tony's is great.
Which used to be right here with us on Easton. Well, not on Easton. Yeah, it was on Easton. On the other side of Easton, I guess.
Is there still one on Ming?
I have no idea. I don't go on that side of town. Do you want to know what a loser I am?
Do I need to hit the Twilight Zone music?
No, I'm not weird. I'm just a loser.
Why is this now?
I don't know why I say these things, but it's just this weird coincidence. So I asked my ex to this wedding.
Okay.
She said she'd back to me. She got back to me today. 72 hours for the wedding. She's going out of town. So I knew she was going to say no. So I asked 3 or 4 other girls.
Smart.
They're all going out of town. I swear to God. And that's why I told the story, because I think it's hilarious. They're all Mark Swain. Oh, dang it. Pizza Guys.
Ooh, that's another good one. Bakersfield Pizza Company too. There's a lot of great pizza.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great.
Write this down, please. That. Hang on. Oh, I can't get to. I gotta hurry. Get that. 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 All right, call it. Call it right now.
Okay. You realize that you just showed everybody on YouTube the number though.
Well, he doesn't care. I don't think he cares. But yeah, all of them are going out of town. One's going to Montana. The ex is going to see her parents. One is going to visit their dad in San Diego. And another is just generic. Yes! Happy birthday, my brother! Mark Swain, everybody. Happy birthday.
I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't forgotten. We did birthday last week over at the beach. Remember golf?
Oh, I know.
You never showed up.
I can't. Dan, I'm still hobbling. I don't even know. I was hoping I could play with you guys on Sunday, but I'm not even sure I can make it because I tried to show off yesterday. Was jumping up and down, and then I tried to make a golf swing on the air. And
Probably better he did it on the air and not with you though, Swain.
Yeah. Oh, it hurts so bad.
Man, get your act together. I need those quarters in your pocket.
I know y'all miss my money. But hey, what are you doing for your birthday?
Well, we went over to the beach last week for 5 days and surfed almost every day and played golf for a couple of days. We just got home Monday.
Oh, good for you. God, I wanted to be with you guys. I really was gonna go too. If I was healthy, I was gonna go. I really was.
We played a couple good courses. Played Chalk Mountain first time, man. That was a nice track.
Wow, that's just, you have no idea how. I haven't played in 2 months. I haven't swung a club in 2 months. It's crazy.
Yourself well.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, have a good birthday.
Thank you, bud.
All right, man. Take care. Mark Swain, good guy. Known him a long time. It's weird that I realize I've known him since the 90s. I don't even know how I met Mark. I really don't. He knew the girl I should have married, Roxanne, long before I knew her. He worked out in Lamont, and I think she either worked out there for him. JR knows him as well. I think JR worked for him as well. But I can't even remember how I met him. And they had this group called the Grocers and Roofers. Mark was the grocer, and most of the other guys were roofers. And they played I can't remember. I was doing a morning show at the time, so I could play with them. They played like in the afternoons. And Mark would keep stats, and it was great. And now they've got a new group that plays on Sunday mornings that I play with. I was playing regularly with them until I got the gout 2 months ago. They play at 7 a.m. Sunday mornings, which I love. We're done by 10:30. I swing by In and Out at 11 o'clock when it's not busy, give me a couple of burgers, go home, and I still have the whole day, But good guy, really good guy. Wish him a happy birthday. Had a heart attack in his 40s, and he's still kicking. Still kicking. Had almost the Widowmaker, and he's still doing well. It's incredible. It really is. And a hell of a golfer. He really is. Dude will shoot a 38 and be bummed. I'm like, shut up. You know what I mean? All right, let's get into it after the break. Let's read a text message if you got anything, and then I'll get into situation in Minnesota.
Wearing a hat to things like an interview or a sit-down dinner definitely isn't very professional or polite. I certainly would never even imagine that the President of the United States would ever be so low class to wear a hat while conducting official business. What a sad middle finger to the high office that would be.
Wow. Isn't that that's exactly, I was just going to say, that's the 21st century. We're talking about work attire, people trying to get a job, and they can still take it to Trump. The Democrats can take a work attire topic and transition that into Donald Trump wearing a symbolic hat that represents the base of what's made him president. That is the 21st century encapsulated. We'll get into Minnesota when we come back.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A shooter has opened fire during Mass at a Minneapolis Catholic school, killing 2 children and injuring 17 other people before dying by suicide. The victims include 2 children who were fatally shot Wednesday morning while in the church pews. 17 others, including 14 children, were injured. All 17 are expected to survive. Authorities say a 23-year-old fired dozens of rounds through the church windows. A top Florida official says the controversial state-run immigration detention facility in the Everglades will likely be empty in a matter of days, even as Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' administration fights a federal judge's order to shut down the facility dubbed Alligator Alcatraz by a late October deadline. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A decision has been upheld
Why
by
are
the
there
Board of
tons of
Parole
people
hearings to grant parole to a man convicted
All
of the
three of you
murder
are
of a
trained?
2-year-old boy. The decision affirming the grant of parole to 49-year-old Josue Daniel Palma Herrera was made, according to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. There's a note on the Corrections Department website stating Herrera will first become
You didn't know he
eligible
filled
for
it?
parole in August of 2033.
Dude, he was good.
The County Sheriff's Office is searching for a missing 32-year-old man with autism. Stephen
Billy, you were
Thomas
good.
was last seen.
I was talking about cocaine. He played Eric Clapton. I talked about The Godfather. He went with the motto music.
Anyone who knows anything is asked to give them a call. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN News.
So what's really going on?
When it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. It's that time
What is
again
SEMA?
for the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Now, through September 2nd, get
Oh.
incredible offers on
Talk to Scott
2025
Cox.
Subarus. And if you're thinking about an EV, the 2024 Solterra is a great choice. First, it's a Subaru. Same quality, safety, and technology you expect from a Subaru. Plus, it's the only EV that comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. And now, through September 2nd, lease a 2025 Solterra for just $259 a month for 36 months and zero due at signing. That's right, absolutely nothing at signing. It's an incredible offer on Subaru EV. So don't miss the Subaru A Lot to Love event going on now at Sangera Subaru, 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Auto Mall. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community.
2025 Subaru Solterra Premium SST Model SCD-11 with MSRP $41,181. 36-month lease payment of $259 per month plus tax, $0 deposit, $0 plus registration and title first payment, and $55 doc fee due at inception. Lease based on 7,500 miles per year, 15 cents per mile over. Available to qualified buyers through Subaru Motor Finance with Tier 1 SCA. On-approved credit price through 9225. VIN number SA10464.
It's the JR Show.
So Gavin Newsom wants to counteract what Texas is doing in their redistricting
by trying to take the power back from an independent council so he can redistrict the California lines. Matter of fact, he's so confident that he's ready to put it before the voters. He keeps saying, don't poke the bear. Only you're not the bear, Gavin. We are the voters. And we'll have the final say. And you, sir, will have egg on your face.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KER.
Okay.
It's also not there.
My what?
Plug stuff into?
Yeah, it is. It's just
That is. But that's what I'm saying. We moved it underneath the table.
yeah. You're right. That is a difference. I really don't want to get into this. I'm so tired of talking about this. Mass shootings. Did you know that this was the second mass casualty shooting in Minnesota and Minneapolis in 24 hours? Started about 8:30 Central Time when Robin Westman, a transgender biological male whose mother signed off to change his name from Robert to Robin back in 2019, went to his school. He attended the Annunciation School for a year, and he had it all well planned. He had it extremely well planned. He took 2x4s as these children were praying. They were in the church, part of the school. As most of you know, there were 80-year-olds in the church, and most of the children, ages from 8 to 14, they were literally praying when he opened fire from the parking lot. But the most sinister thing, and I've never heard of this in any type of mass shooting, he took two 2x4s and blockaded the doors so they couldn't escape. And maybe it's too early to say this because 2 people have died. There are several that are in critical condition. But I think on some level, we were lucky. I know that's not true for the families that are suffering right now, but what if he had entered the church? What if he had been more skilled with that weapon? I mean, it's amazing that he only injured 20 people. And they asked the police chief, Brian O'Hara, how do we solve this? And his direct quote was, I don't have an answer for you. And I think the only answer is a concentration of mental health on our young men. I talk about this every time we have a shooting. We have lost, I think, at least 2 generations of young men. And bizarrely, it's young white men that we've lost, just absolutely lost. And I think part of it is the fear or maybe the shame that some parents have when they have a child that's in trouble mentally and they don't want to make it a bigger deal as opposed to recognizing the signs. I think there are Hansel and Gretel signs. And I don't know, I heard people on Fox bringing up the transgender issue. You know, the Covenant girl shooting in Tennessee was a transgender person. I don't think that has anything to do with it. Now, maybe transitioning at a young age is some sort of mental illness. I don't know. I'm not that smart. But this is beyond that. This is way beyond that. But I think that as a society, we have to become serious about examining our kids particularly those parents that know they have troubled kids. You know if your child is in trouble. I went through it with my nephew. I thought when my nephew was getting Fs living with my sister after his mother died that, and I've never admitted this, but I thought he could be one of these kids. Frustrated at the death of his mother. I can't even get a D in school. Screw it. What do I have to live for? I don't get along with my aunt that I'm living with. Screw it. And I've always on the show talked about losing him to a gang or something, but secretly, I was terrified that he'd become one of these kids, that he'd somehow get a gun and go to the school where he was getting Fs and just light the place up. And that's why I came up with this theory, because I didn't say anything. If I believed that then, I should have said something. I should have gone to my mother. I should have gone to my family and say, we've got to get Thaddeus into therapy. He just lost his mother. He's not doing anything in school. He's not making any effort. He's going out of his way to fail. So maybe I'm part of the problem that I'm alluding to, that we should have said something. We should have done something. Now, miraculously, he goes to Los Angeles, lives with badass Harriet Bailey, and the kid turns around. I mean, his life is a miracle. Kid graduated with a 2.4 GPA. Okay, incredibly average, but it ain't Fs. And just started his second year of college. But he's the outlier. In such cases, we lose those kids, and we have lost so many young men who have just given up. You want to hear? And I was contemplating whether I should read this, because I don't think they should be. One of the problems with mass shootings is highlighting these kids. What's the phrase they use? Their not their memoirs, their manifesto. They read their manifesto. Screw that. Keep that with the FBI. Keep that with law enforcement. Keep that with the family. Don't advertise for these kids. It is a copycat world. And if I'm a troubled child and I see, if I take my own life and take a couple of other lives, I can write out something or do something on YouTube and the whole world will watch it. So that's how I'm going to go out. We need to stop doing that. And yet here I am, hypocritical Ralph, about to read from this kid's manifesto, but it's so damn telling and so damn compelling, I'm almost forced to read it. He said, I have wanted this for so long. I am not well. I'm not right. I'm a sad person, haunted by things that do not go away. I know this is wrong, but I can't seem to stop myself. This may what? I can't read my writing. This may way of setting back. Oh, this is my way of getting back at the world. That's what he wrote. And he planned this out about a week ago or so, apparently. I don't have the answer. If Brian O'Hara doesn't have the answer, I don't. Here is the Minnesota police chief explaining exactly what happened.
Minneapolis police officers responded to a report of a shooting at a mass that was happening at the Annunciation Roman Catholic Church on the block behind me. This worship service was marking the first week of school for children that are attending the Annunciation Catholic School. During the mass, a gunman approached on the outside, on the side of the building, and began firing a rifle through the church windows towards the children sitting in the pews at the mass. Shooting through the windows, he struck children and worshipers that were inside the building. The shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. This was a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshiping. The sheer cruelty and cowardice of firing into a church full of children is absolutely incomprehensible.
It absolutely is. And have we done really anything different since Columbine? Since Columbine? Have we really? We talk such a good game. We really do, with all sincerity. We talk such a good game. But have we really done anything? Have we really invested in mental health with young men? Have we reached out to these kids? And what about the responsibility of the parents? I think at some point, and I don't mean in terms of punishment, putting them in jail or something like that, but at some point, the parents have to have some responsibility. You don't know what's going on with your 23-year-old child. You don't know that your child is spiraling out of control in a world that he feels that he has to write things like, I know what I'm about to do is wrong, but I can't help myself. Here's more from Brian O'Hara.
Police officers from the Minneapolis Police Department immediately responded, entered the church, and attempted to provide first aid and rescue some of the children that were hiding throughout the building, while other first responders came and EMS responded to rush victims to nearby hospitals. 2 young children, ages 8 and 10, were killed where they sat in the pews. Their parents have been notified. 17 other people were injured, 14 of them being children. 2 of those children are in critical condition. The coward who fired these shots ultimately took his own life in the rear of the church.
I don't know how I feel about calling this kid a coward. I mean, I don't know. There's a part of me that has empathy for this child. I know that sounds bizarre. And I know if it was my nephew or any one of my 3 nephews that was a victim in this, I would not have a bit of empathy for him. But when you read this manifesto, when you hear a 23-year-old who is just mentally, just absolutely lost it, I don't know if we need to call names. Everybody's calling him a coward. I don't know. One of the most courageous kids that I have ever seen in my life is a child by the name of Weston Halsney. And one of the rules that I've tried to maintain when I was in television and even in print is you never want to interview children because you just have no idea what they're going to say. But this kid was unbelievable. And he has been the focus for many of the interviews that have been done. Will you hear this kid? Here's Weston Halsney.
Well, we just got into mass. It was like 3 minutes after. It was very scary. It was like my friend got shot in the back. He's in the hospital right now. It was super scary because like we've never practiced it in the church. We've only practiced it in the main school. So we really didn't know what to do. We just got into the pews and he shot through the stained glass windows. Yeah.
Wow. That's a 9-year-old. We didn't know what to do because we've only practiced it in school. We've never practiced it in the church. It never dawned on administrators that it could happen in a church. Here's more from Weston.
And did you ever see him?
My friend like ran, someone helped him like run out. He saw him. He was wearing all black and he had a ski mask on.
So it just shot through the windows and never came inside?
I don't think so. I mean, I was down, so I didn't really look up. I mean, he got shot through the stained glass windows, so they're probably ruined. And
But you have friends that got hit by bullets.
That is an incredibly articulate young kid who just went through something we as adults couldn't even imagine going through. Here's one more bite from Weston.
yeah, my best friend did.
Have you heard what happened with him? Is he okay?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be okay. And then my friend, he was like laying on top of me, like making sure I was safe, and he got hit. So that was really brave of him.
And you have a neck on your neck?
Yeah, that was, I don't even know what it's from. Kind of looks like debris or something.
But that came from during this.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? You seem pretty put together here, but it's got to be tough.
Yeah, I'm just like confused kind of because I never thought it would happen and it just happened. So like, just kind of crazy. And I don't really know.
Do you know what the dust on his neck was? Gunpowder. From probably from the bullet that hit his friend that saved his life. And apparently the friend is going to be okay. Just an act of pure evil. And I don't know if it's cowardice. If you're mentally ill and your brain is spinning, can you really put any rational title on this kid other than sick and demented? What child wants to take their own life at 23? What child wants to really go back to the school they went to and kill children? I don't know. That's why I didn't want to talk about it, because I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. No idea. No idea. I have no answers. I just know that, and I know you're not going to like this, and I know I say it every time we go through this, but I just don't understand why human beings who want to defend their home need a military-like rifle to defend their home. A military rifle that is designed to kill human beings. A 25-year-old cannot rent a car. A 24-year-old, I think you have to be 25. A 24-year-old cannot rent a car. Why? Because their lobes, their brain lobes have not developed in the minds of car dealers to be responsible for a car. But you can be 24, 23, 22, 20, 20, 19 and buy an AR-15. Explain that to me. You can't rent a car, but you can buy a military weapon that is designed to kill human beings. And we say you can't rent a car because your brain hasn't fully developed. But your brain has developed well enough to buy an armed AR-15. Somebody walk me through that. I know you're mad at me right now, so take a deep breath, write a text or call in, talk to me like I'm a sixth grader, and explain to me why a 25-year-old can't rent a car, but he can buy a military weapon that is designed to kill human beings. What, are you going to go deer hunting with that gun? You couldn't go deer hunting with an AR-15. The damn deer would explode. There'd be nothing left. I was listening to a doctor today who's talking about why these weapons are so devastating. He said a handgun will penetrate and perhaps go through the body cleanly. But an AR-15 creates what's called cavitation, where the exit wound is much larger than a pistol or any other weapon, and it creates an internal cavity within your body. And as anybody that knows anything about medicine knows, the absolute worst thing that can happen to your body is an internal injury or internal bleeding. It's one of the things that physicians just can't deal with, or is very difficult to deal with. So walk me through why we need AR-15s, please, because I still don't understand it, and I suppose I never will. Let's go. I'm really late. We're not going to have a lot of time before we get Howard Marcus in here. But we will talk to Howard, who is a big gun aficionado. Maybe he can explain why we need this deadly weapon. We're just damn lucky. Have we ever had a mass shooting in Bakersfield? I don't think we have.
Nationally covered? No. But I don't think we've had any that are like, no, actually, no.
I don't think we have. I really don't think we have. It's just so senseless. And the quote of the day is the police chief. How do we stop this, chief? I don't have an answer for you. I don't have an answer for you. So how the hell is some idiot radio host supposed to tell you what's really going on? We'll take a quick time out and come right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
Casey.
What's going on in the world, but you don't want to be bored to tears.
Well, tune in the Armstrong and Getty Show. We'll keep you informed. We'll try to make you think. We will leave behind the ever-present left-wing media spin. And you know what? We're not angry all the time. Sometimes we have fun.
I'm angry a lot, but not all the time. That's the Armstrong and Getty Show every single weekday.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Looking for something to do this weekend? Grab the husband, grab the wife, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the side chick, whomever, your in-laws. Head to F Street. Have one of the best steaks you're ever going to have. Why do I say that? Well, you all voted Casey Steakhouse the best steakhouse in town in the Bakersfield, Californian poll. And you also gave them kudos for the ambiance. It's a almost 90-year-old restaurant that is total old school with the red leather chairs, the darkness. Jimmy and Bobby are providing live music Tuesday through Saturday. And again, as I try to remind you guys almost daily, don't forget about the Stockyard next door. It's a speakeasy-like bar. They have craft cocktails. They have different drinks than the main restaurant. They have live music in there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. And Cassie has a beautiful banquet room where you can have meetings, parties, election night events, whatever the situation may do. Or you can just have dinner and drinks at the Stockyard. Drop by the next time you're at Casey Steakhouse on F Street in the capable hands of Cassie Biddle's incredible staff. Casey Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Come see what's growing at Bowles Nursery, 3255 Allen Road. Bowles Nursery is a full-service nursery and landscaping company, including irrigation installation and repair. If you're currently not getting the coverage you need to maintain a beautiful yard, come see Bowles Nursery and talk to them about
What are you guys still doing here?
There, check out the huge selection of pottery, bulk materials, shade trees, fruit trees, and more. Did you know that right now is the very best time to plant? Come out to Bowles Nursery and take advantage of the everyday savings throughout the nursery. 3255 Allen Road on the corner of Allen and Meacham. Bowles Nursery also carries exquisite water features and one of the largest selections of succulents around. Come see why Bowles Nursery is one of Bakersfield's largest and most fully stocked nurseries in town. 3255 Allen Road, just off the corner of Meacham. For more information, look them up on Facebook or check them out on the web at bowlesnursery.com.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contrast. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it
Nice
harder
nails.
to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at
Why are you guys still
vaccinations.com.
here? What time is
Sponsored by
it?
Pfizer.
Oh.
That's what I said. Just count down. It's like 2 minutes, huh?
I was going to say, oh, shoot, at 3:58. Y'all are gone. Dude.
that doorbell rings.
6.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Wow, Justin Thomas. I gotta have her going on, man.
Yes.
Have him on tomorrow. Don't. It won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Let's read a text message and get Howard Marcus in here. God, I love this song.
Trump lives absolutely rent-free in these thick-walled, empty heads.
Yeah, no kidding. Trump phobia. What else?
Not sure if you've seen this yet, Ralph, but he videotaped all of his magazines filled with rounds, and he had all sorts of anti-Trump, anti-Israel, anti-Christian, and other sick things written all on them.
And Blackstone, for some reason. Yeah, it was on YouTube for a while, and then they took it down.
Surprised it was on there for so long, to be honest.
Yeah. I like how you got the music running underneath that. We should do that from now on.
We only had a minute left, so I figured might as well.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. Howard Marcus joins us next. Don't go anywhere. It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on me
Breaking news
when
this hour
you're
from
not
Town Hall on
strong.
St. Peter's in Washington. A shooter opened fire with a rifle through the windows of a
They say,
Minneapolis
Chris.
Catholic church and struck children celebrating Mass during the first week of school. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says 2 children were
They
killed
say
and
your
6
audio 1 to
people
10
were
is a
wounded in the
3.
shooting.
So shouldn't we just turn this up?
Annunciation Catholic
Just turn this up.
O'Hara identifies the shooter.
The coward that shot these victims took his own life in the rear of the church. That coward has been identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman. No prior criminal history. As to the weapons used to perpetrate this horrific attack, there was a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. All 3 had been lawfully purchased by the shooter.
The shooter also posted a manifesto on YouTube, which has since been taken down. A Florida official says Alexander Alcatraz will likely be empty within days.
In a message sent Florida Rabbi Mario Roseman, who provides religious services there, Florida's Emergency Management Director Kevin Guthrie says we are probably going to be down to 0 individuals within a few days. This comes as Republican Governor Ron DeSantis and the Trump administration fight a judge's order to shutter the facility by late October. Alligator Alcatraz was supposed to hold up to 3,000 detainees as part of Trump's deportation push. I'm Julie Walker.
A new poll showing handling crime is now a relative strength for President Trump. The Associated Press North Center for Public Affairs Research survey finds Americans are generally not happy about the Republican president's handling of issues like the economy, but are more positive about his tough-on-crime approach. The vast majority of Americans see crime as a major problem in large cities. More at townhall.com.
Attention investors with a 401k, IRA, or retirement account. The dollar has lost over 25% of its value in the past 5 years, and it's only going to get worse. Are you prepared for what's about to happen next? We are Advantage Gold, the #1 customer-rated gold IRA company in America, and we are helping Americans prepare for the great de-dollarization by diversifying their portfolios with physical precious metals. We've partnered with former chief economist of the IMF, Kenneth Rogoff, to give away his latest book called Our Dollar, Your Problem, a must-read for investors. Call 800-741-GOLD, and we'll rush a free copy of Our Dollar, Your Problem to your doorstep and include our special gold IRA investing kit, valued at $49. The dollar is losing value fast. Call 800-741-GOLD now to get your free copy of Our Dollar, Your Problem and our free gold IRA investing kit. Supplies are limited. Consult your tax and financial professional before investing. Call 800-741-4653. That's 800-741-GOLD.
from the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. There is talk of a plea bargain in the case against Zach Scrivener. His attorney met with a prosecutor for the Attorney General's office in the judge's chambers on Tuesday. The case was continued until October 16th to give Scrivener's attorney, H.A. Sala, time to file a motion. Everyone involved was in the courtroom yesterday except the former supervisor himself, from his estranged wife to his attorney, the judge, and the prosecutor. Scrivener is charged with 2 counts of possessing an assault rifle and 3 counts of child cruelty. A semi-tractor trailer rollover on Interstate 5 leaves one person dead. It happened near Laval Road a little before 2:30 Monday afternoon. The semi was along the northbound I-5 off-ramp to Laval Road West. The semi-tractor trailer combo was heading north on I-5 on the off-ramp, but for some reason traveled to the left across the Laval Road on-ramp and overturned, despite CHP and Kern County Fire Department personnel giving the driver life-saving measures. He did not survive. An arrest is made in connection with a reported ransacking of a 7-Eleven and attack of an employee by Bakersfield High School students. The Kern High School District Police made the announcement. The incident was reported just after 3:30 last Thursday afternoon at the store on California Avenue and 8th Street. Officers who arrived shortly after found an employee with minor injuries, but the Bakersfield High students allegedly involved already left the scene. The hiring event for Hard Rock Tajon is underway. It began on Tuesday and continues today. The all-property hiring event happens at Dignity Health Arena Theater and Convention Center in downtown Bakersfield from 2 to 6 this afternoon. Organizers ask that you apply online in advance, bring a resume, and a valid ID. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour, or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think, this is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get up close like this. Bada bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 27th day of August. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at KERNradio.com. Bottom of the hour, we'll get into what is going on in Israel, Gaza, the Palestinian Strip, everything. I think for the first time, I've got to be critical of Benjamin Netanyahu. This has gone too far. There has to be a ceasefire. There has to be some sort of agreement with Hamas. It can't simply be at this point about just extinguishing them. They do not have the power they once had, thanks to Israel. But now it's time for peace. We'll get into that. Kern County Hispanic Chamber Business Conference and Expo is underway as we speak. It'll be going on until 7 o'clock tonight. They have workshops that just concluded, and the Expo and networking has begun. That means expositions and drinking and carousing and networking and meeting folks. You'll hear from Jay Tamsey, who was our guest last week, or maybe even the week before that, talking about his event. And we'll talk a little sports. Second round of the U.S. Open is underway in tennis, and the Dodgers got a big win. They're going for a sweep tonight against the Cincinnati Reds, and 17 is taking the bump for us. If you don't know who that is, you should. Shohei Ohtani, whose last 2 performances have been anything but stellar. So we'll see what happens tonight. But it's a Wednesday.
When marimba rhythm
Starts to play, dance with me, make me sway, like a lazy ocean hugs the shore, hold me close, sway on. Howard Marcus in the
Howdy.
breeze.
On a cell phone due to so-called Edison's stupidity, but oh well.
Say what? Say what?
Well, they do power outages for maintenance right in the middle of the heat wave.
So you have no power?
No power. No power. The whole Isabella area.
What?
Oh yeah, they do this all the time. At least once a month, if not more.
And how long will this go on?
Well, hopefully just the day. They've had it for a couple days at a time, and it's just killing tourism. Kernville is very highly, they have to have tourism to survive.
Yeah.
How do you do that when you have no power in your store? The restaurants, stores. Think about it, like going to an ice cream parlor with no heat, with no power.
That's crazy.
And most of the people here, this is a lower income retirement community. These people can't afford $1,000 generators,
right?
And so they're sweating it out.
Wow,
all the time, unbelievable.
That's insane.
Oh yeah, they don't compensate your bill. You get billed the same, and if you want to file a claim for your groceries, it's a huge amount of paperwork. I just told Mary, just don't open the fridge. It's good for a day,
right?
But yeah, it's luckily where we happen to be, our exact house cools off right about 4 o'clock anyway. It starts to cool off, so the house is actually pleasant at the moment.
Wow,
so,
that is remarkable.
It just they're utility. They don't care about the customers. They for all those prattling commercials you see, especially from PG&E, just horribly, after the Paradise Fire. Oh, we're safer now. Yeah, you only killed how many people and billions of dollars of damage, and you got a free ride from Newsom.
Absolutely.
On and on, but I got so many more rants. So little time.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. When did it go off, and when do you expect it to
8 this morning, maybe 6 tonight if we're lucky.
Wow, that's that. Yeah. I can't even imagine that.
No, it happens all the time up here. It happens. All the outlying areas from Bakersfield have it happen all the time. They're trying to either upgrade the power lines, but look, schedule it in the fall and spring when you're not punishing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Don't do it in the middle of December, in August during the heat wave.
That makes no sense.
They've been doing this every month since I've been here.
Wow.
Well, they don't care. I mean, the reality is, for all their supposed care for the customers, they actually don't care.
They really don't.
They really
truly don't.
And people don't realize the states around us, like Arizona and Utah, they have co-ops. The bills are way less than they are in California because they're not paying their CEO like they do for PG&E, $15 million a year. Well, we pay for that salary.
Yeah.
When they're a co-op, they don't have those kind of salaries, that kind of overhead. Oh,
wow. That's crazy.
On the more important stuff, I guess.
Yeah, man.
First of all, obviously the Michigan shooting. Minnesota, is it Minnesota?
Minnesota, yeah.
Minnesota. There is a simple answer, which is the mental health is one arm of the answer. But until we as a society decide to spend the money to give the same protection to our schools that we give to banks, to civic centers, to courts, that we give them armed guards outside hardened buildings.
Yeah.
Until we decide to do so. You could arm wrestle over, should we arm teachers and all that? They go through training and all that.
Right.
But look, every school should have a lockdown with bulletproof doors, centrally located, so when you have this happen, they can lock the whole building down.
Right.
The doors that a guy can just push open or shoot through. And in every school, every church, every place of worship, they've had lots of school shootings. They've had lots of church shootings, lots of places of worship.
Yeah.
Synagogues and churches. It's not like a secret. So you train everybody in that relief. They've had a couple of these stopped recently. They had one stopped, I think it was last week, by worshipers. They intercepted the guy outside. He was getting to get out of the car. And it never make the news because they stopped him.
Yeah.
But the reality of this is that it doesn't matter what the weapon is, it's the intent of the person. Timothy McVeigh proved the gun thing a fallacy when he killed 150 people with some fertilizer. But the reality is, to correct you, the weapon that he used, the firearm I prefer to use, the one that he used, is not a military arm. It is a military arm is capable of select fire, very high rates of fire. And this gun, you have to pull the trigger each once. And it has a 20 to 40 round magazine, so you're limited how much you could actually shoot and then have to change magazines. And that caliber is available in a whole slew of firearms. And the most common sporting arm in the United States now is actually the AR-15, because it is literally the most customizable weapon. I can say weapon. Most customizable firearm ever designed. You can change calibers, you can change barrel lengths, you can shoot it in a 22 long rifle, you can go up to a whole variety of calibers I won't go into. Much heavier calibers, by the way.
And what's it used for?
Honestly, I know guys that shoot it in competition. In fact, if you watch the video of Keanu Reeves training for the John Wick series, he uses one in a run-through. There's what's called a 3-gun competition, where you use a handgun, a rifle, and a shotgun to shoot a course, which is what, believe it or not, Keanu Reeves has done repeatedly. They use it for hunting because with a heavier bullet, you can use that gun. In fact, the 223 back east for a lot of people Isn't a legal caliber? It's too light. It doesn't kill the deer, it only wounds it. They want to make sure it's more lethal than what actually people think it is. So quite often that caliber is actually limited in hunting. And where it's more dense overgrowth, they actually want you to use a shotgun with slug rounds instead. But the reality of it is the U.S. military found out that the gun wasn't as lethal as it sounds. They found that in Afghanistan that they had to pull the old M1As in a much heavier, much more lethal round, a 308 caliber, 30 caliber, and pull those out and give them to squad leaders and stuff because they found that against jihadists, the stopping power just simply wasn't there. And the range was very limited. I've had one. I found beyond 100, 200 yards, which is nothing in combat. It was very limited.
Yeah, but
I sold mine because I had the use for it.
But did you just hear what you said, Howard?
Yeah.
That you have a combat weapon.
No, it's not a combat
Why do you need a combat weapon?
It is not a combat weapon.
You called it a combat weapon. I didn't.
No. It is a sporting arms. A combat weapon, by definition, which is the old German thing called in English, it's called an assault rifle, is a selective fire. What that means is it functions between either a single shot and an AR or a 3-shot burst or a full automatic. You pull the trigger back and the gun continues to fire until the magazine is empty or until you let go of the trigger. By definition, you can't buy those. Since 1934, they've been regulated, and since 1986, they've been very limited in how to get them. They stopped future sales of all. They had to be either through the police or other army units, things like that. But civilians are very regulated on that. There's a 6-month wait. There's $200 tax. You have to go through extreme background checks to even purchase one, and they cost thousands of dollars. An AR-15 in select fire is probably a $15,000 to $25,000 firearm. And it's not an AR-15 anymore. It's an M16 or what currently is called an M4. The AR-15 you're talking about is no different other than cosmetics than, let's say, a Ruger, what's called the Mini 14, which fires the exact same round, takes the same capacity magazines from between 10 and 40 rounds, has the same function essentially, and it just cosmetically has a wood stock. It doesn't have all the evil, we call them EBRs, evil black rifle looks. What you're thinking of is a cosmetics. That's all it is, cosmetics.
I'm talking about the weaponry. I'm talking about the bullets.
The bullet is a .223. The .223 is a very common round. It's been around for over 50 years. It was originally designed, I don't want to bore the listeners. It was originally designed, the idea was to wound somebody. We went to a lighter bullet. We went from a 30 caliber, like the World War II Garands and then the M1As, to a much lighter, 5-velocity bullet. Because the Cold War analogy, remember, it was Warsaw Pact versus NATO. They found, their studies found that every guy you wound took 2 other guys out of combat to help him, rather than killing them.
Are you willing to concede that in the majority of mass shootings, the AR-15 is involved?
No.
You're not willing to admit that?
That's because it isn't used that way. It's quite often it's handguns. You walk down the street. Remember the guy that walked down the street recently in New York with a gun, in open carry, and nobody did anything about it? You can walk in there with multiple handguns on your body, and nobody will know you have it. I always put up the Virginia Tech shooting where the guy used a Glock with multiple magazines and killed 35 people. So, no, they're not the statistics show they're extremely rare used in shootings. And that's
really?
And it just is,
in mass shootings?
They're extremely limited. Mass shootings themselves are a very, very small percentage of shooting deaths by volume. Of the 50,000 deaths or so, most are suicides. A lot of it's gang and criminal related. They even include police shooting of criminals. And actual mass shootings, statistically, are very rare, which is why they make the news, because they're shocking. They're not as commonplace as people think, and the media plays these up for a variety of reasons. But I'm not making excuses for them. They're horrendous events. No child should have to go to school and worry about being shot. What you need to do is what some places have done. You harden the school. You have it where, like a bank, you don't walk into a bank anymore, especially in New York after the last event. They put the security outside the building. In other words, you can't walk into a bank and walk in and the guard's already inside where it's too late.
Right.
They need to harden the schools. You need to make it so there's a central lockdown. I don't care where it is, but a central lockdown where the guy can't get into the building. And you have cameras. You have all this stuff. You see the guy get out of the parking lot like this guy dressed all in black with a ski mask. He should immediately have been aware of what he was going to do. They could have locked down the building. And every school and every place of worship, the place of worship, because they're private, they usually have armed parishioners. That was the one that was stopped about 2 weeks ago. Schools are a different setup because there's a mindset for a lot of people that the idea of teachers with a gun is to deny the real reality of unfortunate shootings. and they just don't like the concept, whether it works or not. So that's fine. Then have an armed security, have police, they have school security at every school and harden the schools. Will that eliminate them? No, but it eliminates lethality and the mass casualties, I hope. And you're exactly right. Mental health is a huge factor. This guy was an absolute, complete nut job. And this goes back to the Tower shooting in 1966, the first mass shooting, where the guy wrote in his suicide note, "There's something wrong with my brain," and asked for an autopsy, and they found tumors. How would he have known that? Because he was mentally ill and knew something was wrong. He still went up in that tower and shot a bunch of people. That was 60-plus years ago.
At the University of Texas?
New. Yeah, the one in Texas. They call it Texas Tower shooting.
Yeah.
Before they had SWAT teams and all that. First SWAT teams were formed about 1971. They had a mass shooting in a hotel with a gentleman, and after that, they started forming these SWAT teams. Remember the SWAT, the TV show in the 70s kind of glamorized it.
Right.
But the reality is, Ralph, without going on and on, the AR-15 isn't the weapon of what you think it is. It is just a firearm. It's a means to an end. He could have taken a number of other firearms and been more lethal. I'm glad he took that and did what he did, shooting from the outside. That's why you're right. He didn't kill 30 kids. He didn't, unfortunately, some of the kids in the first rounds, I'm sure, were still standing up or apparent targets. The rest of the kids must have hit the floor. And it's tragic when anybody dies. It's tragic when children are wounded. We can't stop evil. Evil always finds a way. 3,000 people were killed by guys with box cutters. Timothy McVeigh killed 150 people with fertilizer in a van. Evil finds a way. To blame the weapon is to ignore the fact that people kill people, because you and I, as rational people, cannot comprehend what this guy would do. You read his manifesto. I saw it was posted online when he went, his video where he's looking at his magazines. It's absolute stark raving lunacy that he wrote on there.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah,
This man was severely mentally ill. Where were his parents? Where was his mother?
Yeah, I thought I
the
said
warning
that.
signs had to have been. You did, and the warning signs had to have been there. But if you remember the Texas shooting, it was so tragic because they didn't go in the building for 45 minutes. That kid had been stopped repeatedly, had police interactions over and over and over again.
Oh, he'd been passed from his mother to his grandmother.
Right, and they never stepped in.
And his grandmother saw him leaving with a bag that she'd never seen him with, and she didn't stop and ask, "What the hell are you carrying?" And
exactly. It's
I'm not
a family thing.
I'm not blaming the AR-15. I'm just, whenever this pops up, I have to ask the question: why is it necessary?
Well, because it's a basic right to own a semi-automatic firearm. That's all it is, and there are dozens of different variants. There are far more lethal variants because they have a heavier caliber bullet. If you'd shown up there with, and I won't go into the technical names of the guns, if he showed up there with a 30 caliber semi-automatic firearm in the same configuration, he would have been killed. Everybody wounded would have probably been dead. It's a far more lethal round. The fact that it was a 223, it was essentially a 22 caliber bullet at a high velocity. It does cause nasty wounds, but it's not as lethal as you think it is. There are far more lethal rounds out there that are commercially available and have been for over 100 years. Since World War II with the Durand, it was a 30 caliber bullet. Since World War I. So I won't go into technical stuff, but the saddest part isn't the firearm. It never is the firearm. It's the shooter. Because this guy could have just as easily, if you remember Columbine, they had pipe bombs everywhere.
Yeah.
They were trying to kill as many people as possible. And the reality is why? Because they were mentally ill. You're right. Because those particular kids were bullied and decided to act out. Obviously, they had mental issues. They've had numerous shootings. You're right. 25 years later, we're still having these shootings. There is no perfect. You have to balance the unfortunate cause of casualties versus the freedom for a variety of issues. We have far more people killed by automobiles, and people would think you're insane if you said, if we banned to kill the automobiles on the road, 50,000 people would be more alive this year than last year, which is more than the gun deaths. But that would people won't do that. They're willing to accept a certain sense of freedom in return for the obvious possibility of DUIs and accidents. It's the same thing.
Do you know that mass shootings are the #1 killer of children?
They probably are.
I mean,
because they're soft targets, which is horrible.
Incomprehensible to me.
Well, because as far as mass shootings are, but kids die from drowning, bee stings, there's a whole bunch of causes. But the reality of it is, why? Because they're soft targets. Because the gunman he doesn't go attack a police station. He doesn't attack an army base. He doesn't try to attack a bank with armed guards, right? He goes to a school, which are considered a place full of innocents. And a lot of these are gun-free zones. In fact, Congress passed something called a gun-free zone where you couldn't theoretically have fire within 1,000 feet of school. But law means nothing to a maniac.
Yeah.
This guy theoretically shouldn't be able to approach the school within 1,000 feet. You see how that works. But the sad reality of it is that we've accepted as a society, for all sorts of freedoms that we have, the element of risk. Nobody stops you from bungee jumping. Nobody stops you from parachuting. Nobody stops you from going up in a hot air balloon, and people die from that every year. The same thing with car accidents and everything else. We have airplane crashes. People don't stop airplanes from flying. But the shootings make the news because they are horribly, horribly tragic.
Why can't a 24-year-old rent a car?
Honestly, no credit.
That has nothing to do with it.
No, I've ridden cars before I was 24.
We can't now.
Where you are. I remember I got my car stuck. They had a couple from Korea that didn't know how to drive, and Enterprise gave them a rental car. None of them knew how to drive. They gave them 5 minutes instruction to park it, and off they went. Didn't even have a California driver's license because there was some kind of exemption for foreign tourists. And there they went in the car with no clue what they were doing.
I'm just saying, if you can't rent a car at 24, should we have lengthier examinations of kids under 25 that are trying to buy weapons?
Well, think of it this way. If you join the military at 18, you're handed anything from a rifle to a tank. Right?
Right.
Well, you want them to go in, you want to have the military go until the 25?
You don't think that's different than just an average kid off the street?
Well, I hope it is because they're more motivated, but they're willing to accept the responsibility. The same reason we let kids that are brains aren't fully formed, and you've seen this in elections, and you've seen this on Charlie Kirk's show when he interviews these students that are under 25. They're not, a lot of those aren't in their right mind, but we let them vote. Age 18, there you are, voting away.
Yeah.
So we've accepted this as a society, certain limits. And in some states, you can drink at 18.
Well, you used to be. I've changed that a lot in most of the states.
Yeah,
You're right.
Most states.
When I was in Georgia, you could drink at 18.
I think they've changed most
states. They've changed most states, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Howard, I'm out of time. Always good to talk to you.
That's okay.
I hope everything's okay up there with the heat.
It'll come on when it's convenient for them, not for me.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've never heard anything so stupid. Yeah. All right, man. Have a good weekend.
You too. Hey, you have a good time in front of the wedding.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, free alcohol.
Yeah, I'm going, and the bachelor party's tonight.
Oh, dude, you won't be in tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I'll be a little tired, that's for sure. All right, Pop, we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Talk to you later.
Have a good weekend. Howard Marcus, not a lot of time before we get to the bottom of the hour. It's TRBS. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Look who's here. It's the Valprado family from Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen. Gino, I know everything begins with your incredible staff and your familial atmosphere.
I love what we have at Luigi's, and I love everybody that works there, and we're all like family, and then our customers are like family, so it's all one great place.
And Lynette, I know your passion is the delicatessen.
What I love about it is that when you have lunch in the restaurant, you can go next door into our deli and buy anything that's on our menu. Our best sellers are the pasta sauce, Luigi seasoning, freshly sliced meats and cheeses, specialty food items, and of course my passion, our wine shop. To see plenty of details and all the happiness at Luigi's, go to our social media at Shop Luigi's on Facebook or Luigi's Bakersfield on Instagram.
Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen, where friends meet.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1783. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1783. That's 800-575-1783. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show. A new
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A shooter opened fire with a rifle Wednesday through the windows of a Catholic church in Minneapolis and struck children celebrating Mass during the first week of school, killing 2 and wounding 17 people in an act of violence the police chief called absolutely incomprehensible. All 17 are expected to survive.
It sounds better.
Authorities say a 23-year-old fired
it sounds
dozens
better.
of rounds through the church windows. The director of the nation's top public health agency is out after less than 1 month on the job. The Department of Health and Human Services said Wednesday that Susan Monarez is no longer director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 147 points. The Nasdaq rose 45. This is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. There is talk of a plea bargain in the case against Zach Scrivener. His attorney met with a prosecutor for the Attorney General's office in the judge's chambers on Tuesday. The case was continued until October 16th to give Scrivener's attorney, H.A. Sala, time to file a motion. Scrivener is charged with 2 counts of possessing an assault rifle and 3 counts of child cruelty. The hiring event for Hard Rock Cajon is underway. It began on Tuesday and continues today. The all-property hiring event happens at Dignity Health Arena Theater and Convention Center in downtown Bakersfield from 2 to 6 this afternoon. Organizers ask that you apply online in advance, bring a resume, and a valid ID. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour, or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
It's been a wheel, let's take the ride. Hold your breath, feel the thrill inside. Every taste and tune our hearts declare. We're creating moments at the Kern County Fair.
Think you've got what it takes to win a blue ribbon? Show off your baking, art, or photography at the Kern County Fair. But don't wait. Entries close September 5th. Enter now at kerncountyfair.com.
I was always tired, sleepy, and had no energy.
I had relentless, debilitating headaches.
Valley fever has many faces and impacts people differently. If you have a lingering cough, fever, or painful breathing for more than 2 weeks, talk to your doctor.
I am Quan Louie.
I am Bryn Kerrigan.
And we are the faces of Valley Fever.
Visit Kern Public Health to learn more.
It's the JR Show.
Have you guys been down California Avenue lately between Real Road and Stockdale? My goodness, the construction is an absolute mess. You can't get in and out of businesses during certain times. It rotates. Nobody is notifying anybody about when roads are going to be open. The city has dropped the ball on this. Seriously, it took me 15 minutes just to get home from work. I live right across the street. I could have walked home faster. And the worst part is, it's going to last till the end of October.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey.
Six 842 KERN. I'm sure we've got a ton of text messages. Let's clear the board.
My 22-year-old rents cars. They get charged a little extra for insurance, but they have done it for many times.
Is that right? I thought it was 25. How did I get that wrong?
No,
They-
you're
they
right. 'cause
changed the laws?
It's just the extra fees thing. They always tell you that without all that, you have to be 25 and older.
Okay.
The
All right.
insurance purposes.
Well, I was just trying to make a point. What else you got?
Ralph, why do people need to have a gun that consistently fires 40 rounds? If you're a good shot and trained, a 6-round revolver would either kill somebody or subdue them.
We just spent about a half an hour talking with Howard about that. I own a weapon. I own a Glock 23, and it holds more than 6 rounds. And I think that is sufficient to defend myself or anybody else. I don't understand why the need of this. Maybe it's I was born and raised a liberal Democrat. I was a liberal Democrat until I was about 30 years old, which is only half of my life now that I am an old man. But I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand I had a boss at the other station, and I go to Vegas 2 or 3 times a year, and he would always in fact, he gave me like a coupon to go to this place and shoot a machine gun. And he was my boss, so I didn't say anything, but I wanted to ask him, why the hell would I want to shoot a machine gun? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't understand the obsession that we have with weapons, with guns. I guess it's part of our society. Cowboys and Indians playing with guns, whether they be water pistols or fake guns. Try to guess roughly how many weapons we have in the country. We have 250 million people. How many guns do you think we have in this country?
Probably about
200 million.
400 million.
400 million, yeah.
We have more guns than we have people. And I just don't understand it. And I'm not trying for a minute to imply that if we get rid of AR-15s, all our problems will be solved. Because Howard's right. And I thought I said this. It's all about mental health. We've lost. Do you understand what I mean when we've lost these kids? We've lost them. They don't give a damn about anything, including others and their own lives. Once you don't care about your life, you are a ticking time bomb. And I forgot to ask Howard his thoughts on how do we keep the parents responsible? There's no way, and if you don't know, but there's no way you don't, as a parent, know that there's something going wrong with your child. But if you don't know, you are a horrendous parent because you have no relationship with that child. As I've talked about, and I can only base this on my life, but Harriet Bailey would go through my room. What's this? What's this? Who's Cindy? She would search my drawers, my closets. I told you the story of the 3:45 in the afternoon. I come home, it's a great day. I'm going to get something to eat. Holy crap, why is my bong on the kitchen table? The bong that I had hidden in the back of my closet behind all, when you're a kid and you have all your board games. I had like 6 board games, and there was this little crevice in the back of my closet, and that's where I hid my bong. Harriet found that son of a gun. And just to mentally mind screw me, she took the bong and left it on the center of the kitchen table and didn't say a word, just left it there. Wasn't home. I come home from school, 4 o'clock, walk in, and there's my bong on the kitchen table. And I don't know what to do. Do I throw it away? Do I take it back to my room? Do I leave it there? I mean, that's brilliant because she had me so mentally screwed up, I didn't know what to do. And the only thing I could do was just take it and just wait and wait and be like, it is what it is, Mom. It is what a TI is. The point being, she was involved in my life. She knew damn well I was smoking weed. Some parents have children smoking weed, they don't even know because they're disengaged. If you don't know, you're a horrendous parent. And if you do know, we've got to get to a point where parents aren't afraid to essentially rat out their own kids, to concede. And I think part of it is maybe it's my fault. Maybe I drove this kid to this, and I don't want this to get out of the house. And this whole theory that most families have, we don't air our dirty laundry out in public, so we're going to keep this within the family. No, we can't do that any longer. These kids are in trouble. These kids, you heard what I read. This kid was reaching out. I ain't right, is what he wrote. I'm not right. I am not well. I am not right. I'm a sad person haunted by things that do not go away. I know this is wrong, but I can't seem to stop myself. If that's your child and you don't know that he is mentally lost, you are negligent. You are almost criminal. And I know good and damn well we can't throw these people in jail, but there's got to be something that we can do that will shake up our society, shake up our parents, and say, look, it's a new world now. It's a new century, a new world, a new era where you have to be not only engaged, but almost absorbed into your child's life. It can't simply be about just keeping your room straight and getting good grades. You have to sit down with your child and what's going on with you? And I know, believe me, I'm not stupid. Don't pretend that I'm stupid simply because I don't have any kids. I went through I'm 10 years older than my youngest sister. I've had 3 nephews. I've watched them grow up. I've hopefully played a role in their upraising. So I understand the teenagers are going to give you the okey doke when you ask them that. Nothing. No, they're going to give you one-word answers. It doesn't matter. You still have to engage them, and maybe you've engaged them more, they would be willing to open up more. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know we have to do something. Don't we have to do something? Have we really done anything since Columbine? And I think Howard has stumbled staggeringly, haphazardly into the truth that we've got to start arming our schools. Not just simply weapons, but police presence. How did this kid, as that young 9-year-old described, dressed like a ninja gorilla, just walk onto that campus? How's that possible? In this era, you could do that in the 1970s, the 80s, the 90s, but how is today armed people just being able to walk onto campuses? What else you got?
Mary Marcus just let us know their power came back on.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. I'm happy for you. That's good to hear. That's crazy. That's happened to me twice. And I checked into a hotel. I sat around my house. It happened in the middle of the afternoon. And once it got dark, I said, screw this. And I went and stayed at, I think I stayed at the DoubleTree. I said, screw this. I'm not going through this. Like if it happened now, there's no way I could stay in my apartment. It's when I walk in tonight, well, I'm going out tonight, but when I walk into the house at about 6:15, 6:20, it is 84 degrees in my house. 84 degrees. One more. Let's take a break.
Sorry, Ralph, but it's really not relevant whether you understand the passion, obsession, or whatever you wish to call it. It's a constitutional right, plain and simple, and we don't take rights away from the majority simply because the small fraction of the minority abuse that right.
I'm not trying to take away guns. I don't believe in taking guns. I've got a gun literally arm's reach from where I sleep. I have a very lethal weapon, literally arm's reach from where I lay my head every single night. I'm not in favor of destroying the Second Amendment. I specifically talk about military weapons and the AR-15. That's what I talk about. I'm not talking about getting rid of handguns, shotguns, rifles, things that people use for hunting, protection. I just, as much as Howard tries to convince me, can't understand why military type weapons or these AR-15s that I do think, I disagree with Howard. I think they are almost omnipresent in these shootings, are necessary. If you need an AR-15 to defend your house, you're a mafioso or you're a gangbanger or something. I mean, I know I've got at least, I think, like 9, 10 bullets in my Glock. And if I got to use 10 bullets to protect myself, like I said, I must be a mafioso or a gang member or something like that. I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back. We'll take some more of your text messages. Talk a little bit about Israel. Talk about the Hispanic Chamber in the 5. You'll hear from our good friend and neighbor, literally, Jay Tamsey. Did you hear our boss is going to be my neighbor soon? He's moving over in the...
I didn't hear he was moving to the area. I thought you meant literally. I was like, really?
No, he's not moving to my complex.
That's what I was like, really?
No. But he's got a house over in kind of Westchester. I don't know why am I telling my boss's business? Let me just shut up. So stupid. Quick time out. We're coming right back. It's TRBS on a Wednesday, right here on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN, streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You got Messmaker right here. You want to play it?
To tears? Well, tune in the Armstrong and Getty Show. We'll keep you informed. We'll try to make you think. We will leave behind the ever-present left-wing media spin. And you know what? We're not angry all the time. Sometimes we have fun.
I'm angry a lot, but not all the time. That's the Armstrong and Getty Show every single weekday.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hope you join us every Thursday, particularly at 4:30, when Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors joins us. Daniel gives us a weekly update on the deficit and its growth. We look at silver and gold and obviously the stock market and all kind of economic issues that most importantly impact you. But again, you guys know what Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about. They're all about retirement. I keep telling you guys, it's one of the smartest moves that I've ever made financially. Call Daniel at 395-9400, 395-9400 if retirement is in your near future. Or just tune in Thursdays at 4:30 when he joins us every week. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future, option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Inc., DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Oh no, Dad, I spilled juice on the carpet.
Don't worry, kiddo. We have stain-resistant carpet from Carpet Outlet Plus.
Dad, look, he dumped his water bowl all over the new floors.
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store. Now offering 1 year, no interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1783. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1783. That's 800-575-1783. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now,
porn down in the South Bay of LA. And they did it their whole lives. Aren't they still doing it? Aren't the Beach Boys still touring? I know a couple of them died, but I think they're still touring. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What else you got?
Yes, apparently they do still tour.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Probably doing state fairs and things like that, but nevertheless, there's a venue. There's a venue. What else you got?
LOL, I had a similar situation with a bong. Oh, how I sweat for a while. I took it back and stayed quiet. There was never a conversation. But we had a new understanding, and I was more than aware that I was being watched everywhere.
Yeah, there was a conversation, all right. And my dad made me throw it out, and then I tried to go back in the garbage and find it, and it was just a.
I mean, what do you really even do? Because you're right, you're kind of stuck in a corner. You can't really walk away with it because they already know it exists. So they're just going to go right back in there and say, what you do with it?
That's what I did. I just took it and I just waited for the conversation, and we had it. And I just, my dad was one of those people. He was the Kathy Abernathy of our family. He told me I would lose brain cells and I wouldn't be able to remember things, and I'd get a talk show and repeat things and get the days wrong and make mistakes. He was right. But yeah, I just think, and somebody said in here, oh, so I'm a bad parent now? What the F? I didn't call anyone specifically a bad parent, but if you're not engaged with your children and you don't talk to your children about their problems and what's going on in their lives, and you're not investigating their rooms and just going through and seeing what's going on with them, yeah, I think you're a bad parent. Now, if that hits you and if you feel personal about it, that's your own paranoia or maybe your own guilt. But I think in today's world, in this era, life changes. And when I was a child in the 70s, you could do anything you want as long as what? Come on, old people. You know what the what was. As long as you were home by the time the streetlights came on. In fact, we would challenge ourselves and ride our bikes as far as we could just to see if we could get back before the streetlights came on. Because I'm telling you, from about 10, 9 to about 12, 13, if I wasn't in the house when the streetlights were on, there was an angry black woman that looked similar to me standing in the front yard, and she'd wait till she saw me on the block, because we lived on the corner of Caliente Avenue, 17409 Caliente in Cerritos, California. And my mother would stand in the damn lawn in the front yard, and we would always come from the west, so we'd come from the far side of the block, because we lived at the end of the block. And she would wait till I turned the corner coming down the street to scream, Ralph Emerson Bailey Jr., get in this house. Because she knew I hated it when she said my middle name. She knew I hated it. And my mother didn't care. She'd be out there, curlers in her hair, and looking all crazy, screaming, get your black behind in this house. Seeing me coming down the street, knowing I'm coming home, but just knowing that drove me nuts. And that was part of the impetus. Let me get home before that crazy lady's in the front yard screaming my damn name. But it's a different world. It's a different century. And you just have to be more engaged. And I'm not talking about if your child is having like minor issues like smoking weed or missing class or something. I'm talking about deep issues. And it has to be prevalent. There has to be warning signs. And I just firmly believe in my heart that families, because again, I went through this with my nephew, families are reluctant to, for lack of a better term, rat out their own family and admit that there's a problem. Isn't that the biggest problem with having a problem, no matter what it is? To just first come to terms with it and admit, I'm a drug addict. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a serial cheater. I'm dishonest. I'm a bad businessman. Whatever. The first hurdle is to own it and admit it. I have a troubled child. So now I have to go out of my way to protect that child and to protect others. And I have to go through his peachy folder. I have to go through his notebook. I have to look in his drawers. I have to know who his friends are. That's another thing that doesn't exist today. I couldn't visit somebody's home that my mother had never met or didn't know. Mom, I'm going to Chris Burdick's house. Who's Chris Burdick? I've never met Chris Burdick. Well, he's a friend of mine. He moved in a couple of weeks ago. Well, I don't know Chris Burdick. You can't go to Chris Burdick's house. When I meet Chris Burdick's family and I meet Chris Burdick, then you can go to Chris Burdick's house. But I don't know who he is. You can't go. And I'd be like, this lady is crazy. It's a new century. One more, and let's get to the 5.
Ralph, I hear the politicians in Sacramento are going to try to get the high-speed rail privately funded by asking California sports teams first for donations. What do you think?
I think nothing of high-speed rail. I was going to get into that. That's one of the topics I was supposed to get into today because Trump just tonight, or Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy just denied another $175 million after they denied the $4 billion. And this comes on the heels of Newsom announcing that they're going to try to raise $1 billion a year based off the cap and trade funds. This is the greatest boondoggle that America has ever seen. There was some hole in Boston that they once gave that title to, but this is it. This thing is lunacy, pure lunacy.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Going for another walk.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. 2 children are dead and 17 are wounded as a gunman attacked a Minneapolis Catholic church this morning during Mass. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says the suspect posted a manifesto on YouTube.
We're also aware of a manifesto that the shooter had timed to be released on YouTube. This manifesto appeared to show him at the scene and included some disturbing writings. That content has since been taken down with the assistance of the FBI, and it now remains under active review by our investigators.
The shooter was identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman. Federal officials referred to Westman as transgender. All of the injured are expected to survive. President Trump is scoring points addressing urban crime. Correspondent Mike Hempen reports.
A poll from the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research shows 81% of Americans see crime as a major problem in large cities. Slightly more than half of U.S. adults say they approve of the president's handling of crime. But the poll shows there is less public support for federal takeovers of local police departments. Trump has deployed the National Guard to the District of Columbia and has threatened to expand that model to other cities across the country. The poll also shows Trump's overall approval rating has increased to 45% now. Mike Hempen, Washington.
The director of the nation's top public health agency is out after less than 1 month on the job. The Department of Health and Human Services says that Susan Monarez is no longer director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 147 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Attention investors with a 401k, IRA, or retirement account. The dollar has lost over 25% of its value in the past 5 years, and it's only going to get worse. Are you prepared for what's about to happen next? We are Advantage Gold, the #1 customer-rated gold IRA company in America, and we are helping Americans prepare for the great de-dollarization by diversifying their portfolios with physical precious metals. We've partnered with former chief economist of the IMF, Kenneth Rogoff, to give away his latest book called Our Dollar, Your Problem, a must-read for investors. Call 800-741-GOLD, and we'll rush a free copy of Our Dollar, Your Problem to your doorstep and include our special gold IRA investing kit, valued at $49. The dollar is losing value fast. Call 800-741-GOLD now to get your free copy of Our Dollar, Your Problem and our free Gold IRA investing kit. Supplies are limited. Consult your tax and financial professional before investing. Call 800-741-4653. That's 800-741-GOLD.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A decision has been upheld by the Board of Parole Hearings to grant parole to a man convicted for the murder of a 2-year-old boy. The decision affirming the grant of parole to 49-year-old Josue Daniel Palma Herrera was made, according to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. There is a note on the Corrections Department website stating that he will first become eligible for parole in August of 2033 after spending 25 years behind bars. On August 10th, 2008, the son of Herrera's girlfriend was taken to Kern Medical with serious injuries, including a skull fracture and bleeding from both eyes. He did not survive. The victim of a fatal DUI crash that happened over the weekend in southwest Bakersfield has been identified as 23-year-old Chasey Carino from Delano. The crash happened at around 1:30 Sunday morning at the Panama Lane Stein Road intersection. Carino was a passenger in one of the cars and was ejected. Her body was found down the road. The Little Fire has burned over 2,548 acres and is 29% contained. The blaze started on Friday along Highway 178 about 5 miles east of Burrell Road. 178 was initially closed but has since reopened. According to the U.S. Forest Service, all eastbound lanes are passable and there is single-lane traffic in the westbound direction. The weekend rain provided a little relief for firefighters, with some areas reaching nearly 2 inches of rain. The Kern County Sheriff's Office is searching for a missing 32-year-old man with autism. Stephen Thomas Merrick was last seen walking from his home near Blue Tail Lane and Quail Creek Road. His picture is on Kern County Sheriff's social media. Anyone who knows anything is asked to give them a call. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get a place like this. Bing! You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 27th day of August. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live, kernradio.com. Still lots to do in our final hour. Kern Hispanic Business Conference and Expo is going on as we speak. They are involved in the exposition phase and the networking. It'll go on till 7 o'clock tonight, so you still have an opportunity to beat it over to the DoubleTree. Join my neighbor and executive director of the Kern County Hispanic Chamber, Jay Tamsey, and a host of folks. I saw a lot of muckety mucks at the event. They had an event at involving Chef Lino yesterday, and I saw a lot of powerful local folk. Talk a little baseball at the bottom of the hour. The Dodgers got a big win. They've won 4 straight now, going for a series sweep of the Cincinnati Reds. Padres won last night as well, so we're just a game up. But remember, we own the tiebreaker. And Clayton Kershaw, I thought looked pretty good. Although in the press conference following it, he said, I had nothing out there. He said, I was lucky to go 5. And he only gave up a run. And he threw mostly curveballs and sliders. That's what I'm worried about in the playoffs with Clayton. Because the fastball's gone. He can't get the fastball up past 92 miles an hour. And if you throw that over the plate and they're expecting it, if they're sitting on fastball and you throw these guys in the 21st century a 92 mile per hour fastball, that's a souvenir. for sure. But the bullpen looked better. Tanner Scott looked great last night. I mean, really, really, really good. Like, there are nights where he gets it done, but he still doesn't look that good. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where the outs are hard outs. Line drive to Mookie, makes a nice catch. You know what I'm saying? Deep fly at the warning track, and he makes the play. You know, that doesn't warm my heart. But last night, guys, right-handers were fouling it off into their own dugout, meaning they were ridiculously late on his fastball, and the outs that he got were ground outs, and he was absolutely pounding the strike zone. And then, as I've always learned, and there are baseball people out there that know better than I, but you got an 0-2 count, you bet not throw something over the plate. That I see that happen in Major League Baseball, where it's an 0-2 count and the pitcher will throw it over the plate, and I'm like, are you stupid? The kids in the Little League World Series know better than to do that. You try to get somebody, if you watch Major League Baseball closely enough, most, particularly when you're watching a good pitcher, most strikeouts are guys chasing. Major League Baseball hitters are just too good. As I've talked about before when we talk baseball, I don't care if you launch a rocket at these guys. They'll time it up inevitably. Mookie hit that kid Green that I was talking about for the Reds in the first game of this series. Kid was throwing on average 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And Mookie timed up a 102 mile per hour fastball and knocked it down the left field line. 102. Absolutely timed it up and took it down the left field line. You can't throw past these guys, not consistently. And to throw a strike 0-2 is about as dumb a thing as you could possibly do. But Tanner Scott looked good last night. Kasperius gave up a home run. I'm not a fan of his. He is so Clayton. Not Clayton. What was the kid that I hated? Was with
Kenley?
the Angels. Yeah, he's Kenley Jansen. Some nights he's Eric Gagne, and some nights he's Ralph Bailey. It's like, what? I don't know, but I'm concerned. 842-5376, 842-KERN. So again, Benjamin Netanyahu has to pull back. The Israelis, what is going on? They targeted an attack on a hospital thinking there was a camera on board. It was a camera from Reuters, and there was a follow-up. I think what's going on now is too much. I've supported Israel. I supported Benjamin Netanyahu full-throatedly, wholeheartedly. But now it's time to back off and make a peace agreement. I really believe that. The starving, it is now getting to a genocide. And I completely understand their obsession with Hamas. You know, I don't hate anybody, but I don't like people that don't like me. For whatever reason. You don't like me, then I don't like you. And that's a stupid comparison, I know, but I understand their obsession with Hamas, because I would be obsessed with anybody that wants to wipe us out. That's all Hamas wants to do, is to erase Israel off the map, literally and figuratively. So I get it on a certain level. But at this point, with children starving and you attacking hospitals, killing journalists, and I think the only time it's ever going to get true attention is when an American journalist is killed. That's when it'll get a spotlight. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What else you got on the board?
The job fair for Hard Rock is packed to the gills. I showed up both days, and I will admit, in jeans, but it was a new pair and tucked in with a button-up shirt. I do believe that you are right. It seems like a lot of people just aren't even trying. You're applying for a job at a casino, not at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
On a side note, is AGM hiring?
328-1410. I have no idea, but phone call.
You're actually better off, I think, looking online. If you see any openings there, then I would apply.
If you can sell radio, I'm sure Billy Smith would love to sit down and talk with you. I don't think we have any on-air jobs available.
I do not believe so.
And I don't think we even have any producer jobs now that we've got Dawson and Daisy. Is she DJing or is she going to produce?
I think she's DJing.
She's DJing? Yeah. So I don't think we have any on-air stuff, but we have always looking for good salespeople.
Always.
But yeah, if you're just joining us and wondering what he's talking about or she's talking about, I guess a girl could wear jeans. But I just saw some B-roll of the first day. It's a 2-day event, and this is going to be a game changer for our community and for Los Angeles. That's the only crappy thing. The LA folk are going to come up here. They really are, because that's what to the Grapevine. Not even 90 minutes. About 90 minutes.
Roughly, depending on the traffic.
They're going to be up here, particularly when the hotel goes up.
Yep.
They're going to be up. It's going to be a lot of Los Angelinos, but it's going to be a lot of Kern County people. It's going to be an absolute game changer. It really is. I think this is going to be one of the most positive things we've seen since rob a bank. I really think it's going to have that kind of impact. And it's going to create a lot of jobs, a lot of money. They're creating a little community down there for the employees that don't want to have to make that. It's just a 20-minute drive from Bakersfield. But they're creating a little community down there. They're building apartments. I know our buddy Chris Wilson from Tiger Fight is involved in that. We need to get him on and talk about that a little bit. But I really think this is going to be a huge game changer. I know I'll be a big fan. I told Chris Kelly, you're going to see me a lot. I'm going to be down there quite a bit. What else you got? One more.
Hey, RB, I think those 2 shootings may have been the same guy/girl.
No, I don't think so. The 2 mass shootings in Minnesota, I don't think so. That happened in the same 24-hour period? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. But just the fact that there were 2 in the same day than a 24-hour period. By the way, speaking of crime, and I got to give a shout out. We have Donkey of the Day. We should also have some kind of title for somebody who's done something good on the day. And that's Mayor Bowser of D.C. She is one of the few Democrats who is embracing the National Guard and is giving Donald Trump credit. She read some statistic today. Do you know what percentage in the same time period in 2024 from the same time period in 2025 in which the president put the National Guard, what percentage carjacking has decreased in 1 year?
45.
45, you say?
Yes.
45. 45?
45%.
Final answer?
Final answer.
87%.
Oh, wow.
87%. And the mayor of Chicago is still fighting Trump because that's the new news peg. Trump wants to go into Chicago. And everybody says that these citizens don't want this. Are they really going into Cabrini Green? Are they really going into the ghettos and asking these people? Because the last protest I saw in D.C. about the National Guard, and again, I don't mean, this isn't a racist comment. You can take it if you want to. There's a bunch of white people. Now, I don't know if you guys know what the nickname for D.C. is, but it's Chocolate City. D.C. is primarily African Americans. And the people protesting the National Guards were white folks. So are these pollsters really going into the gangster areas of these communities and asking, Sadie Mae Green, the 85-year-old woman who's lived in Southeast D.C. for 45 years, do you feel safe, Sadie? Or are they asking the suburbanites who live in Northeast and Northwest behind gates if they want the National Guard? 87% drop in carjackings from the same period in 2025 when the Guard were there in D.C. and the same period in 2024. 87%. Police presence works. And I'm not thrilled about the way that Donald Trump is going about this, but it's working. I think that he should work more in cahoots with the mayor, and that's why I'm giving a shout out to Mayor Bowser of DC, where she's at least a little more amenable to this than all these other liberal mayors who are like, hell no. The mayor of Chicago says he believes the presence of the National Guard will exacerbate crime. Where do we find these people? The police presence exacerbates crime. No words at all. Let's take a break. We'll come right back. It's TRBS on a Wednesday. It's a horrible day. Just a horrible, horrible day. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The JR Show.
So the city council moved forward the idea of renaming South 8th Street to Avocado, the Cesar Chavez. I don't know, whatever. Look, it's not the name that bothers me. It could have been Cesar Chavez. It could have been Martin Luther King Jr. It could have been Buck Owens. It does not matter. At a time like this, when we don't have the money, how are we going to spend, for what I'm told, over $1 million to do a street name change? It's just not the right time to do it.
The JR Show. Weekdays at 2 p.m.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries here in Kern County. If you are eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens and cares about you with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations, it's time you learned about QualCare IPA. QualCare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans and provides you with access to a large network of outstanding doctors and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond original Medicare benefits coverage, and understanding these coverage differences may be confusing. Call us today at 661-554-4544. Let us help you understand your healthcare options for 2025. Call today, 661-554-4544. That's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs at meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the glue is broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more. I just took a COVID test. Ugh. Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Your car steering wheel could be a ticking time bomb. At least 24 people have died and many more injured because their airbags fired shrapnel at them upon inflating. Tens of millions of cars have been recalled. If you suffered cuts that required stitches, hearing or vision loss, or broken bones, please contact us today. You could be owed money for medical bills and other damages.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1783. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1783. That's 800-575-1783. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN.
Talked to my college roommate last night. That was fun. Dr. Phil Sadler, DDS, is a dentist up in Oakland. He was my roommate my sophomore year. I had to move out of my apartment because my roommate pledged Kappa Alpha Psi. And so I had to, second semester, I had to move in with Phil and Conrad, the late Conrad Carey. Again, whenever I talk about my college years, I always remind you guys, you don't want a roommate with me because I am the kiss of death. 3 of my roommates, my college roommates, are dead. J.R. Myers died just a couple of months ago at 62, which, okay, that's still young, but okay, 62, we get it. But Conrad died, and whenever I talk about this, it's bizarre because in college, Conrad did not drink, did not smoke cigarettes or marijuana. He looked down on us. In fact, we used to fight because I had the back bedroom, and he'd be like, Ralph, come on, man. I can smell that weed over in my room, man. And you know how he died? Slumped over his steering wheel with a crack pipe at his feet. Isn't that crazy? Guy that didn't party in college becomes a lawyer and starts smoking crack. Could never understand that. And Danny Gunn, poor Jake Daniel Gunn, my favorite roommate. Again, loved his yayo. I had a heart attack at 47. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but Danny, I shouldn't. I feel bad even saying this, but Danny would do coke in the morning. Danny would do a couple of lines just to get going in the morning. And that's why I say I am really, really lucky because I did it, but I did not like it. And the reason I was lucky because Danny loved it and it was around our apartment all the time. And if I liked it, it was there for me. But I was always like, no, I'll pass. And, you know, it's weird. I've never understood peer pressure with drugs. Like, what do you care if I don't get high? Why does it bother you? Like, guys, they bust my balls. Oh, come on, Bailey. What's the matter with you? You smoking that weed? Go take a line or two. I was like, no, I'm good. But, yeah, I'm the kiss of death. But anyway, I was talking to Phil last night because Lisa Cook, the woman on the Federal Reserve Board that Trump is trying to fire, is a Spelman graduate. She was, I should have been class of 84. Phil was class of 83, and she was class of 86. So she was like a freshman when I was a junior. And it's weird. College is like high school. Like juniors and seniors don't mess with freshmen. They really don't. And then I sent him a picture of her. And he said, I don't even know why I'm saying this, but he said, well, I know you didn't know her, Bailey, because she ain't cute enough for you. Because I did. I had some cute girlfriends in college. I really did. It has nothing to do with me or my charm or my looks, obviously. But like I always talk about when I talk about Spelman Morehouse, 9,000 women and 3,000 men, and about 500 of them are gay. So do the math. It was, what a time of my life. I just couldn't finish school. I don't know. What do you got on the board? Let me shut
The
up.
movie The Joker romanticized this type of behavior.
What's that?
I'm assuming they're talking about the shooting kind of behavior.
Yeah. I was watching The Penguin last night. That is so good. That is such a good series. I hope they bring that back.
I think it's supposed to happen this season.
I hope so. It's really good. And to think that that's Colin Cowherd, Colin Kaepernick. Ooh, I dare you to get one now. I took the 2 best. Colin Jost.
Oh, gosh dang it.
Thank you.
Who
am I talking about, though? The actor.
Colin Farrell. That's why I was like, that's the only
Is
other
it
one
Colin
I know
Farrell?
of.
The thing that's him is unbelievable. And the scene where he takes, have you seen The Penguin?
Oh, yeah.
The scene where he takes off his shoe. I was like, damn, you know what I was going to do? I swear to God, I was going to do this. I was going to rewind it, freeze it where he takes his sock off, because that's why he's dependent and why he waddles, because his foot is deformed.
Yeah.
And his foot is like deformed. So I was going to freeze it, take a picture of his foot, and then put it on Facebook and say, see what I'm going through with gout? Yeah, and your foot goes white when you got gout too. But I was like, don't be stupid. But one more. Let's get to the back.
Ralph, your Glock is designed to kill human beings.
Yes, it is. That's my point. So why do you need anything more? Why do you need anything more than a simple handgun to defend yourself? Why do you need a long rifle, military style, I don't care what Howard says, that has weapons that'll just destroy your innards, just absolutely, you can get shot, normally you get shot in the fleshy part of your body. You can survive if they can stop the bleeding fast enough. But now with an AR-15, you get shot right in the side of your body, and this thing will this captivation that these doctors are talking about, that it just absolutely explodes within your body, creating all type of internal injuries and internal bleeding. And that's as bad as it gets, Dad. That's as bad as it gets. Internal bleeding, that's as bad as it gets. That's what my dad used to say. It's not true, I don't think, anymore. My dad used to say, if you get gunshot or knifed in the stomach, God Almighty can come and touch your forehead, and ain't nothing the doctors can do for you. But that's changed a little bit. But we head into the last half hour of the broadcast on this downward Wednesday. The country in mourning a little bit. President has ordered flags at half-staff. Last half hour, I'd stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A shooter opened fire with a rifle Wednesday through the windows of a Catholic church in Minneapolis and struck children celebrating Mass during the first week of school, killing 2 and wounding 17 people in an act of violence the police chief called absolutely incomprehensible. All 17 are expected to survive. Authorities say a 23-year-old fired dozens of rounds through the church windows. The director of the nation's top public health agency is out after less than 1 month on the job. The Department of Health and Human Services said Wednesday that Susan Monarez is no longer director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 147 points, the Nasdaq rose 45. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A decision has been upheld by the Board of Parole Hearings to grant parole to a man convicted for the murder of a 2-year-old boy. The decision affirming the grant of parole to 49-year-old Josue Daniel Palma Herrera was made, according to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. There is a note on the Corrections Department website stating Herrera will first become eligible for parole in August of 2033. The Kern County Sheriff's Office is searching for a missing 32-year-old man with autism. Stephen Thomas Merrick was last seen walking from his home near Blue Tail Lane and Quail Creek Road. His picture is on Kern County Sheriff's social media. Anyone who knows anything is asked to give them a call. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Please meet Paul Sheldon's client, Vivian Rushing.
Hi, my name is Vivian Rushing. I am a client of Paul Sheldon. They helped me get everything in order. I had no clue what I was doing, and they were wonderful. The staff is amazing. Lynn and Kelly go out of their way to make you feel comfortable when you walk through the doors and make sure you have everything that you need. Paul is very accommodating. He uses himself as an example to help you understand the process of the insurance and what benefits you should be looking at and what you shouldn't be looking at and how to go about getting it together. I have recommended Paul Sheldon. Just a couple of days ago, I was in line to get my medications, and this gentleman was talking about retiring and didn't know what to do. I told him, contact Paul Sheldon. He's the best. I just want to say thank you, Paul Sheldon. You're wonderful, and your staff is amazing.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Do you feel like you need to know what's going on in the world, but you don't want to be bored to tears?
Well, tune in the Armstrong and Getty Show. We'll keep you informed. We'll try to make you think. We will leave behind the ever-present left-wing media spin. And you know what? We're not angry all the time. Sometimes we have fun.
I'm angry a lot, but not all the time. That's the Armstrong and Getty Show every single weekday.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1.
Some of the what do you call them? Not groomsmen, but
singles table for a reason, Ralph.
Are there singles tables at a
Oh
wedding?
yeah, you got that's the actual bride and groom. But
God, what's the last wedding I was at? I haven't been to a wedding in a long time. I'm an old man. People, my friends are either married or ain't never get married again.
True.
But they're always fun. They're normally fun. And I forgot the reason that all my so-called dates are going out of town. I forgot it's Labor Day weekend. So it's not even that funny a story. That's why they're all going out of town. It's a 3-day weekend. And I have absolutely no plans because I didn't even know it was a 3-day weekend. And I was going to go to LA, but, you know, I got to go to Robbie's wedding. And I got to go to the, I was just telling Randy, I don't know whether it's the gout because I stopped drinking during the gout. I mean, I had a cocktail, I had a margarita Sunday at Mexicali, and I went out with Romeo one night, had a couple cocktails with him, and Mike. I hung out with Mike one night. It's only 3 times I've drank in the last 2 months. And I've just kind of lost my love for liquor, which is a great thing. I'm not complaining. It's just weird. I don't know what it's fault. And you know what deep in my paranoid mind is?
I don't know.
My prostate has something to do with that. Because I'm not eating regularly. Like I said, I had that piece of pizza was the first thing I've eaten all day. And I really didn't have like an appetite. It wasn't like, oh, I need to eat. And I'm just,
is that affected by your prostate?
I don't know. It's my own stupid paranoia.
I was gonna say.
I don't think your prostate loses your taste for liquor or loses your appetite, but you know me. In fact, that's one of the things that Phil and I talked about. Phil's 65, which just blows me away. Not that I'm not 2 years away, but we sounded like old men. We were like comparing drugs. Well, I'm on hydroxyline and labetalol, and I'm going to be on allopurinol in a minute, and I'm taking colchicine every day, and I'm on a statin. What about you? Well, I'm on this and on this and on this. And I realized, I said, Phil, do you realize we sound like 2 grandfathers? And he said, well, I am a grandfather. It's not, you're the one that never got married. And I'm like, well, yeah, we are. And he was just like, we old, Ralph. I said, yeah, we really are, man. Isn't that amazing? I'm telling you, Chris, Sap it up like you haven't eaten before. Enjoy your youth, because you really honestly believe I'll never get old. And it seems like it's like overnight. I don't know. Look, I got Randy walking. I got the whole staff walking. I feel responsible for that. I got Snacks walking. Got Randy out there walking. 842-537-6842 KERN. What else you got?
We had a Taft High shooting years ago.
Oh, that's right. The kid with the shotgun. I do remember that. Nice call. I do remember that.
And I had a couple other people say the Vincent Brothers thing would count too, but
yeah, but that's more of a murder than a mass shooting. I mean, technically, number-wise, because he killed 5 people, certainly a mass murder. But that wasn't a random, I'm just trying to kill everybody I can. Vincent had a plan. And for those new to our community, or maybe just don't remember, Vincent Brothers, we talked about him a lot lately. I don't know why. I guess because we were talking about San Quentin and everything. But Vincent Brothers was a beloved assistant principal. I got a great story about Vincent Brothers that I keep telling, but I'll tell you in a second. But he was an assistant principal who wanted to get out from under his responsibility to his family. So he figured he'd just wipe him out. I'm not making that up. He was tired of paying alimony to his wife. He was tired of supporting his 3 kids. So he wiped him out. You can go down, what is that, P Street, and still see the yellow house with the guards on it. I see that house, and I just, God, to think that there's even people living in that house. But he took they got back from church, and the mother-in-law was in the back room. That's part of the story as well. And his estranged wife was in a room with the 3 kids. He shot the wife first, then shot the 2 kids, and then put the gun to the head of his 6-month-old child. Where do we find these people? And the part about the mother-in-law is that she heard what was going on and grabbed her gun and took a shot at him and missed. And he killed her as well. And damn near got away with it. Damn near got away with it. If it hadn't been for former DA Lisa Green, who at that time was just a mere prosecutor, she saved the day, Jack, on one of the weirdest Columbo-like discoveries I've ever seen covering the courts. I used to cover the courts in print and in television. And do you know what did him in? Either Lisa Green or her detectives, or what are they called? Investigators, Jesus, discovered bugs in his grill of his car. Because, I'm sorry, let me lay it out for you. He was in Illinois, I believe, or back east, and drove out here and committed the murder and drove back to have an alibi. And the investigators discovered the bugs in the grill of his car, and discovered that those bugs were only present on the West Coast. Those bugs weren't on the east side of the Mississippi. So it proved that he had to have been here. And that was part of what sunk him. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, he put a handgun to the forehead of his 6-month-old child. And the funny, and not that there's anything that's funny that comes out of this, but part of what when you get into these things, everything comes out. And I guess the prosecution wanted to prove that he was kind of a player and wasn't straight with his estranged wife. And he had sex with a very well-known educator that I'm not going to out. I really am not, but she's incredibly well-known, as is her mother. And he had sex with her in an apartment with absolutely no furniture. Now that's a player. And I know I shouldn't make light of it, but think about that. He talked a woman into having sex on the floor of an empty apartment. There's part of me that like admires that. Like,
I
really?
think he tried to sell it that like this would be their apartment when they finally got together.
Who knows?
I feel like you could sell it that way.
Like,
Look, baby, I just bought us an apartment for when we're ready for it, to move in together and all that type of stuff. We just haven't moved in the stuff yet.
so let's get on the floor and get down.
Yeah, let's I don't even know how to put it, but you know what I mean.
I'm a creepy old man. I don't know if I can have sex on the floor. Who am I lying to? But I mean, that's just weird. You know what I'm saying? Particularly if you're naked on the floor.
I've had it happen once, but we fell out of the bed first.
You fell out of the bed?
Yeah, we fell out of the bed.
Jesus, Chris, what are you up to these days?
This is
You
why
fell out of the bed.
This is before I ever started working here.
What kind of sex are you having? How do you fall out of the bed? No, you start. See. Now you can't blame me for inquiring. I didn't ask you anything. I didn't tell you to vomit. You started this conversation. Everybody is on the edge of their chair.
As a whole.
Well, but you volunteered info, and everybody is on the edge of their chair wanting to know.
We were just having a good time. We didn't realize where we were on the bed. We fell off. As simple as it was.
I've never heard of that.
We both laughed it off and said, might as well just keep going down here.
That is way too much information. Way too much information. That is funny. Oh, to be young again. Let's take a break. Final break of the night. So glad this broadcast is over. I apologize if my performance today has been poor. It's just difficult to come in here. Like I said, my favorite time of the day, 7 to noon, when I get to put this thing together, and then 3 to 6. But today, I just didn't want to be here. Just didn't want to talk about it again. Didn't want to have the argument again. Didn't want to talk about it again. Didn't want to go over all the things. And it's, seems like we talk about the same thing every time there's one of these shootings. Final break of the night. Keep it locked. Charlie Kirk at the top of the hour. Tomorrow's a Thursday. Michael Turnipseed from Kern Tax Association, along with our money man, Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. And the Ryder Cup has been assembled. Good excuse to bring on our good friend Nick Ragone. I'll hit him up tonight, see if he wants to join us. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN, streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
So Gavin Newsom wants to counteract what Texas is doing in their redistricting by trying to take the power back from an independent council so he can redistrict the California lines. Matter of fact, he's so confident that he's ready to put it before the voters. He keeps saying, don't poke the bear. Only you're not the bear, Gavin. We are the voters. And we'll have the final say. And you, sir, will have egg on your face.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary. Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-690-6464. That's 800-690-6464. Again, that's 690-6464.
The Bakersfield Ronald McDonald House Galactic Gala on October 1st, 2025 at the Bakersfield Country Club. They got auction items, including trips, Raider tickets, wine, and more. Now, during the Galactic Gala, a night of fun and elegance, the Bakersfield Ronald McDonald House provides comfort, care, and support for families while their child is hospitalized. The Galactic Gala is their signature event, which helps to raise awareness and funds for the local house. All proceeds from this special event stay local. There are sponsorship and tables available. Call the Bakersfield Ronald McDonald House at 661-437-4130 or visit rmhcsc.org/Bakersfield. For more information on the event, Ronald McDonald House Gala is honoring Senator Shannon Grove this year, helping families stay close. We are a force together. All proceeds from this special event stay local. There are sponsorship and tables available. October 1st, Bakersfield Country Club. Get your tickets now.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1783. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1783. That's 800-575-1783. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Get on up.
So we know more about Travis and Taylor. Did you hear this? He asked her weeks ago. The family's been keeping it a secret.
I had a feeling.
And they interviewed Ed Kelsey. I saw him, the dad, and he spilled all the tea. And he said that this is a great story. And Travis gets it. He really does. Because his dad asked him, so it was about a week ago. And he said, so when are you going to make the announcement? Because apparently they only told their parents, both of them have all four of their parents alive. So they told both their parents, and that's it. I think he told Jason and Kylie, and that's it. That's the only people they told. And so when it was finally announced, they interviewed Ed, and Ed said, well, yeah, they did it a couple of weeks ago, actually. And I asked, a couple of days later, I asked Travis, when are you going to make the announcement? And he said, Travis said, whenever Taylor wants us to. And I was like, okay, you get it. But you got to give me some credit as where's my bullhorn?
That one, I have no idea where the bullhorn went. That one.
Oh, here it is, back there. I predicted they would get married. Now, I know what you're going to say, Chris. You're going to say, no, you didn't, Ralph. You were the one that said they'd never get married. You said for months they'd never get married. And you're absolutely right. But when did I change my tune?
You dropped the album?
When she went on the podcast. I said she's never been on a podcast, and I didn't think she'd ever do her podcast, which sends signals they are going to get married. I did say that. Just saying. You got to give me some love. I'm one of the few radio talk shows who tells you what's going to happen before it happens. Just saying. 7 to 10 carats. Did you see The Rock?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that was part of the iceberg that brought down the Titanic. That thing is gargantuan. And she showed it off, and get this. This woman could be president of the United States. She really could be. Because these people do whatever she does or whatever she says to do. So she's in a certain dress. Givenchy, I don't know. but it's a certain kind of, let's say it's a Givenchy. Let's say it's a Ralph Bailey dress. It's a Ralph Bailey dress that she wore in the picture, beautiful setting. He's looking up from a knee, then they're face to face, and blah, 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 blah. Do you know, Chris Burdick, you cannot buy that dress? Why can't you buy that dress?
Sold out, I'm saying?
Gone. Like in a day. Do you understand the power this woman has? Even Trump said something nice about her today. She could sway elections. If she got on the stump, we need to bring her out here and stump against this redistricting. She could change the vote in California like that. I really believe this. You remember what she did in 24? She was smart enough not to blow off half her audience by openly supporting Kamala Harris, but she did a registration drive and the numbers were nuts. In like a day, she told people to go vote and the numbers were crazy. I don't understand that. You think it works?
I'd like to say yes, but
I think we were talking about, and I agreed that this is going to be his last year. I don't think so. I think he wants to show off in front of his wife. I don't think he wants to start his marriage retired. I mean, don't get me wrong. Travis Kelce, if he quit today, would be on CBS, NBC, Paramount. He could do it. He could have a television show. They might even try to make a movie actor out of him. He's a good-looking guy.
Well, technically, he already had a television show.
Oh, that's right. That
Catching
dating
Kelce.
show. Yeah. But that was a flop. But he wasn't anywhere near. Take away Taylor. He wasn't anywhere near the celebrity that he is now.
No.
Minus Taylor. Now, obviously, the Taylor factor makes him a global celebrity. But I didn't really know him back then, his first couple of years at Kansas City. I just knew he was an annoying tight end that would give us hell, the Raiders. But now he's, big time. I can't wait till. You think he's on the podcast tonight? It dropped today.
Oh yeah, no, they had already dropped one about the Taylor stuff, and I mean,
So he's on it,
we didn't watch it, but I saw the thumbnail for it.
and he's on. He's part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I'm gonna go and watch that tonight after the big bachelor party. Think there'll be strippers? Not at the Gentleman. That's
Not
too
the
classy
Gentleman,
a joint. Yeah, that's too classy a joint. But isn't that what the bachelor parties are supposed to be about? They're supposed to be strippers at a bachelor party.
Meh.
And I can't talk about it when I get here tomorrow as much as I'd want to. I can't. I'm not going to do that to Robbie. You can't talk about a guy's bachelor party.
What happens at a bachelor party stays at the bachelor
That's
party.
absolutely right. That's absolutely right. What else? Anything on the board?
Yeah, I got a couple more here. Mama Bear Cindy has chimed in.
Mama, she's going to yell at me.
Oh, she's not yelling at you, but she is tightening you up. An AR round will not blow a deer into smithereens. It is actually small for deer hunting. It can be used for coyotes and other animals as well.
Okay, all right. I just don't like the weapon. I'm sorry. I know that angers 88% of my audience, but I don't know. What else you got? Love me some Mama Bear. Again, thanks for the birthday shout out. Send me a nice little text on my birthday. What else you got?
If it is about law and order, DT is sending in the troops to round up mentally ill gun owners.
What?
I think they're saying if it was about law and order, Donald Trump would be sending in troops to, gather up all the gun owners that shouldn't have guns.
I don't even understand that.
I don't either.
How do you do that? How do you determine somebody's mentally ill? I just think there should be a longer period of wait and a greater examination of the gun owner. But what do I know? What else you got?
Ralph, would they take an application from Bakersfield to come here to clean up our crime and homeless problem?
Would they take an application?
I'm not sure who they are.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. What else?
Last one here says the only downside is she's a liberal.
Who's that?
I'm assuming this one they're talking about Taylor.
Yeah, but she's smart enough not to blow off half her audience. She's smart enough to know It's what Michael Jordan said when he was young and he had just signed with Nike. And a man by the name of Henry Gantt, I believe was his name. And he was running for the United States Senate in North Carolina against one of the most virile, racist, indecent, horrible human beings who ever served in the Senate, a man by the name of Jesse Helms. And black folks came out in droves. The voter count was incredibly high. And being a North Carolinian, Mr. Gantt went to Jordan to stump with him and endorse him, and Jordan wouldn't do it. And people were shocked because Jesse Helms was a despicable human being. And you know what Jordan said? Republicans buy Nikes too. That's brilliant. I didn't agree with him, and I still don't because Jesse Helms won and stayed in the Senate. But she's smart enough to realize I have a brand, and it's not just for liberal Democrats. And I'm not going to piss off half my audience to make some strong political stance. I'm just not going to do it. She's a brilliant girl. She really is. But I knew once she did the podcast that the die was cast. When she said, I'm so grateful for this podcast. I got a boyfriend from this podcast, because who knew that he was going to use this as his personal dating site? That's an amazing story. Be a great movie. Again, remember how he met her. He went to a concert, and I left out this fact. The reason that he went to the concert and thought that he could get all the way to see her, because it was at Arrowhead. So he knows all of it. He's like, hey, James, it's me. Come on in. And then he got to the, where she was, and they were like, 87, I don't care. Super Bowl, I don't care. Yeah, I see your ring. I don't care. And they wouldn't let him in. So he gave her a friendship bracelet that had his number on it. And crazy enough, she called him. And he had the Riz to reel her in.
The friendship bracelet is smooth.
It is smooth. With your number on it, that is Riz, Jack. That is in the dictionary. You got his picture with the little bracelet under Riz. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is
All right. You ready? 3, 2. I just think as a society, we've got to do a better job as parents who have to know when their children are troubled mentally. And I know we don't like to air our dirty laundry out in public, but at some point, parents with troubled kids have to seek some sort of help and out their children, because the shooter's parents in Minnesota had to know that this boy or girl was mentally sick. God, that was horrible. That was horrible. I don't care. Tomorrow's just turnip season. 3, and what the people are coming on Friday? Just Tina's people? All right. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Thursday TRBS. Well, it's a Thursday. So Mike Turnipseed, Executive Director of the Current Tax Association, will be with us, along with our money man, Daniel Petrie from Messmaker Petrie Wealth Advisors. All that and me at 3. TRBS, News Talk 96.1, AM 1180, KERN. I'll see you at 3. I don't know why I don't want to go to this party.
Wall Street with the Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 147 points. The Nasdaq rose 45. with the S&P 500 index advancing by 15. More at townhall.com.
Attention investors with a 401k, IRA, or retirement account. The dollar has lost over 25% of its value in the past 5 years, and it's only going to get worse. Are you prepared for what's about to happen next? We are Advantage Gold, the #1 customer-rated gold IRA company in America, and we are helping Americans prepare for the great de-dollarization by diversifying their portfolios with physical precious metals. We've partnered with former chief economist of the IMF, Kenneth Rogoff, to give away his latest book called Our Dollar, Your Problem, a must-read for investors. Call 800-741-GOLD, and we'll rush a free copy of Our Dollar, Your Problem to your doorstep, and include our special gold IRA investing kit, valued at $49. The dollar is losing value fast. Call 800-741-GOLD now to get your free copy of Our Dollar, Your Problem, and our free gold IRA investing kit. Supplies are limited. Consult your tax and financial professional before investing. Call 800-741-4653. That's